In the air, center field, and it's gone! Carlos Correa has just forced a Game 6.
Said we don't want to go home yet, so we better do something about it.
The team that was down 3-0, turning the momentum their way.
We like our chances. We have a lot of confidence in our bunch that we'll get the job done.
Ji-Man Choi will watch it fly! We're ready for Game 6 now. This is going to be something. Oh, a little touch of paradise here on the West Coast, San Diego, California. It has been the home of this entire American League postseason. We welcome you from Petco Park, normally the home of the San Diego Padres. Today, home for Game 6 of this ALCS. It's presented by Geico. They'll flip-flop today. The Astros will be the visiting team. The Tampa Bay Rays, the team with the best record in the AL. The top seed in the AL, they will be the home team for Game 6, and if there is a Game 7. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from San Diego. It's another glorious day for baseball. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson, Jeff Francoeur, Ron Darling is here. We'll hear from Lauren Shahade in just a moment as well. This series has been outstanding. Now we have a walk-off moment in this series as well. The Astros and the Rays, they've all come down to the final at-bat each of the first 5 games. Rays up 3-2 in this series. They've outscored Houston. The Astros have out-homered them. Batting average is low and runners in scoring position, and the ERA is excellent. And with Correa winning the game last night in the final inning and the final at-bat for the Astros, now we're set up for a terrific Game 6. It's impressive how evenly matched they've been, though.
Yeah, but 2 different teams, and I think they've shown you we can win different ways. But at the end of the day, both these teams have struggled with runners in scoring position. It's been the one kind of Achilles heel. They're both hitting $194. So to me, guys, look for a late home run. We've seen Margot, Arozarena.
Yeah.
On the other side, Altuve, Springer, and Correa. One of those is going to have to hit a big homer.
Well, it feels like we're set up for that, but there's some familiarity today because we're circling back with the starting pitchers from Game 1.
Well, when you look at the matchup again, Blake Snell won a Cy Young. Cy Young has not been at his Cy Young best in this postseason. He's given up 5 runs. 4 of them have been solo home runs. 1 run he gave up in Game 1 against the Houston Astros. And Valdez has been really peaking. He had a great season. He's a guy that can throw a lot of innings. And the one thing you have to watch, will he be getting the ground balls?
Well, the Astros trying to make some history. They've won 2 in a row. 3-2 Rays lead in this series. What a series it's been. No fans in the stands, no bother. The competition has been A+. These players fully engaged. We're ready for a Game 6. The ALCS on TBS is next.
Geicoine. You can save even more by bundling home and car insurance. By T-Mobile, connecting fans in all 50 states with America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile is your ticket to the game. And by DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Download the app to try it free today.
Petco Park, San Diego. You see those shadows creeping in. Could be tough on the hitters the first few innings. 82 beautiful degrees here on the West Coast in San Diego. Getting ready for first pitch. Before that, news of the day, and there is plenty. Let's check in with Lauren Shahade. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Brian. Kevin Cash said the ball is flying out of here, all well and good, but we need base runners in a major way. We also need length out of Snell because the bullpen, this stable, as he calls it, is taxed in a major way. Kevin Kiermaier out of this lineup. He told me his hand is still sore and still swollen. Michael Brantley for the Astros will DH, took a ball off his foot in Game 4. Asked Dusty Baker about last night's walk-off. He said games like that are the reason I'm back managing, like the birdie on the golf course. It just sucks you right back in, Brian.
It does, and he said he had never had a walk-off moment as a manager in his career in the postseason. That's hard to believe. He's been to a lot of postseasons. Said that was one of the best games he's ever managed in his life yesterday. Geico batting order for Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros decked out in their orange tops today. They are the visiting team. They'll bat first. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley at the top. Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker in the middle with Yuli Gurriel. Aledmys Diaz will be in left field, and Martin Maldonado rounding out the starting 9 that will face left-hander Blake Snell, the former Cy Young Award winner just a couple of seasons ago. Ronnie,
you know, there's two things, guys, I'm going to be looking for here. In game 1, his start faced 21 hitters, only 9 first pitch strikes. Starting this game in the shadow, you're going to have to throw more strikes. And can he keep the ball in the yard? 5 runs he's given up in the post, 4 solos.
And catching them today, 5th out of 6 start this postseason in the ALCS, Mike Zunino. Then going around the infield, Wendell's been so good, gets a start against the lefty Adames. Brasso at second today with Diaz at first base. And then Rosarena gets the DH today. Lau moving to left field, Margot in center, and Renfroe gets a start in right.
All the pieces in place. Home plate umpire Tim Timmons in his 4th LCS. Manny Gonzalez over at first base. John Tumpane is the second base umpire. The crew chief is over at third base today. That's Jeff Nelson. And the outfield umpires Chris Conroy and Ted Barrett, rounding out the 6-man umpiring crew. Ready for a game 6. This should be fun. All of these games have been dramatic. And now a walk-off moment has occurred with Carlos Correa last night. One of the signature moments of this postseason thus far. Got to close the gate.
Teddy Barrett, sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, he's got those arms today.
Well, that's the bullpen door, and I think both of these managers are hoping that bullpen door doesn't open for a long time in this game. It was used heavily yesterday. We saw a ton of relievers, made a little Major League Baseball history yesterday with 8 rookie pitchers in the game yesterday. Here we go. First pitch of game 6 is in there for a strike, and away we go. Snell starts George Springer with strike 1. Could not ask for better weather this entire run in the American League MLB bubble here in San Diego. And a swing and a miss. Snell gets ahead of him 0-2.
Started him out with a changeup after the first pitch home run yesterday off Curtis, and then that cutter slider down and in.
Springer's homered in back-to-back games of this championship series. No balls, 2 strikes. And Snell delivers. Now the Astros trying to do something that only one other team has done, the Boston Red Sox. That's win a series down 3-0. Houston just the 4th team and the first since those 0-4 Red Sox to force a game 6 after falling behind 3-0 in a best of 7. It has happened 38 times. And it does feel like, even though Tampa Bay, Frenchie, jumped out to a 3-0 lead in this series, the games were back and forth. The Astros felt like they could have staked claim to at least one of those games in the early going.
Yeah, I think we feel like the Astros could have even been up 2-1, but the fact of the matter is, these have been 5 games that we showed you in the open are so close. These teams have so similar, yet so different in so many ways. And I think you saw Snell there with that cutter in, slider in. That's going to be the pitch. He cannot let these Astros right-handed power hitters get comfortable out over the plate.
Snell pitched game 1. He's been the game 1 starter all 3 rounds, and now he gets a game 6 assignment and a strikeout to start it. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Some deliberation between he and Zunino on the right pitch to go with, and it's a 4-seamer right at the bottom of the strike zone for out number 1 to get us started today.
I don't know about body language, but Springer walked out of there like I didn't see anything.
And that's what I think we talked about yesterday, Guy, the shadows. Yesterday we started an hour earlier. We saw the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning. Today we figured the first 2 innings are going to be rough on these hitters.
Now that's just after 3 o'clock local time here. This start an hour later than yesterday. Here's Jose Altuve now with 1 away. And he takes a ball low. Altuve having a great series at the plate. He's had his throwing woes, but he's got 7 hits, 4 homers against Blake Snell in his career. And you see his numbers in 11 games of this postseason. He's popped 2 first-inning home runs for the Astros. Springer had a first-inning home run in yesterday's game.
Snell didn't give up any runs in the first inning in his 11 regular season starts, but first inning runs in 2 of his 3 starts here in the post.
And you see him being very careful with Altuve. Gets the call there. Ronnie, I'm sure as a pitcher, when you have a guy that's hitting 389 with 4 home runs against you, you know, don't you?
Yeah, and also for Snell, he's a guy who likes to pitch up in the zone. That's the strength of Altuve. He's got to get the ball down.
2 balls and a strike on Altuve. And that one misses. Altuve with a first inning home run in game 1. He bounced back, had a first inning homer in game 3 with the Astros as the home team, and then he did it again in game 4. 4 out of 5 games the Astros have hit a solo home run in this ALCS. Altuve 3 times and Springer yesterday. 3-1 to count, and a swing and a miss.
Not giving in to Altuve. Chose the slider on the 3-1 count. It's a dastardly pitch, isn't it?
It's a good pitch. If he's got that one on today, he's going to be tough.
That's a great look from behind home plate. You see the ball start in the shadows. It pops bright as the sunlight hits it and then goes back into the shadow. That's what the hitter is dealing with early. 98 with the fastball from Snell. How about the pitch arsenal for Blake Snell?
Well, the fastball will run about 97, 98. The slider will usually be down and into those right-handers. Changeup he doesn't throw as much. Curveball is the wipeout pitch. He doesn't use it as often as you would think.
Yeah, you want to lay off the yellow.
Who did this graphic? Dr. Seuss?
Lay off the yellow one.
Yep. Lay off yellow, hit blue.
Full count. And that one misses. Altuve draws a walk. So the first base runner of the game. That'll put Snell in the stretch.
Altuve, if he gives up on a pitch and it's a pitch that he can walk on, watch him. He'll get down a little bit, give the umpire a little different look, and Snell wanted that pitch.
Turns that 5-6 frame into about a 4-6 frame right there. Altuve is aboard.
Remember Altuve, when he got on in the first inning yesterday, was picked off by John Curtis.
Michael Brantley. Altuve was eliminated twice from the base paths. He tried to stretch a single into a double yesterday as well. So 2 outs while on base for Altuve yesterday. Shift is on for Brantley. And that one's in there right down the heart.
And while Springer and Correa have both hit some big home runs this series, the 2 guys that have given the Rays the most trouble, Altuve at first and Brantley, 368 with 4 homers and 7 RBIs. Look, they only have 3 RBIs with runners in scoring position. These 2 have delivered both of them.
Brantley drove in 2 yesterday. That broke a 1-1 tie. That was a 3rd inning 2 RBI single that put the Astros up 3-1. You heard Lauren report that Brantley still dealing with the effects of not 1 but 2 foul balls in game 4. 1 on the shin, 1 on the ankle. He does wear that brace on his right foot, but Dusty Baker told us before the game he's just not quite ready to run in the field just yet. He can hit, he can run the bases, he's hobbled, and they need his bat in the lineup, but it has forced Aledmys Diaz in the field. So Brantley can function as the designated hitter. Normally it'd be just the opposite. You'd have Diaz as the DH with the left-handed starter.
First 5 home plate umpires have had a pretty big zone. What do you see early?
Tim Timmons is a little tighter. He is, you would say, a hitter's umpire more. You saw that even with Altuve earlier, those couple close calls on that one to Brantley. You're going to have to be around the plate all day.
1 ball, 1 strike. Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. That can be a very difficult throw to catch for a first baseman, by the way, coming from the pitcher. That sun is a factor over there as well. Right field, first base, the second baseman, all tough sun fields right now. And another check on Altuve.
Snell has been very deliberate, and I'm not even talking about the throws to first. Even when no one was on, it's almost like he's measuring and thinking and contemplating longer than most, or longer than usual, what's the right pitch.
Well, I think for him, this is a huge start.
Yeah.
We talk about Clayton Kershaw on the other side.
Yes.
Snell, the last 2 starts, has been shaky. This guy, the one that Cy Young and has been their ace.
1 ball, 1 strike. Another throw to first base.
Right, Ron? Everybody wants that postseason moment, and this is his opportunity.
BGP. You want people to say, hey, you know what? He's a big game pitcher.
Yep.
Every pitcher wants that.
He's been excellent with men on base this season. Opponents hitting just 143. Opponent OPS, combining the on base and slugging percentage, is low as well. He's been at his best with runners on. And that's in the dirt. Altuve started then stopped. Good block back there by Zunino.
The beatdown of Zunino begins.
He will wear a lot in the chest protector today. Snell throws a ton of wild pitches, and he's going to have his catcher in the dirt often.
7 wild pitches this year led the American League.
Both catchers this whole series have done a great job blocking balls and keeping runners put.
2 balls and a strike. Michael Bradley, and that one missed. 3-1 now. Astros feel like they survived yesterday with all of their young pitchers, their 5 rookies in succession they used: Garcia, Taylor, Paredes, Scrub, Raley. Josh James was injured in the game yesterday. Dusty Baker said it's unlikely we'll see him today. They're actually debating on a roster move, perhaps, depending on how he feels after this one today. Bradley late fouls it away. The point being, guys, is that the Astros, they had the clock ticking at the end of that game. Carlos Correa told Dusty Baker, I'm gonna finish this right now, and Dusty Baker said, well, that'd be good because we're running out of pitching. The next pitcher for the Astros, if it had gone to extra innings, was the guy who's on the mound to start the game today, Framber Valdez.
Dusty had done such a great job, and he had done almost a perfect job in the 9 innings, but he didn't have really anything left for extras.
He said they were outmanned had it gone to extra innings, but it did not, and that has set him up well. Altuve takes off, swing and a miss, throw to second, easy pickings, and a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Zunino put it right on target. Michael Brantley strikes out, and the inning ends. 3 batters come to the plate. Snell works around a walk with a strike him out, throw him out, double play. We go to the bottom of the first, off and running. Game 6 of this ALCS. So he is in the lineup for the Rays in the leadoff spot. Batting order presented by Geico. Mike Brasso, Randy Arozarena, Hunter Renfroe at the top. You got Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, and then Manny Margot in the middle. Kevin Cash has Willie Adames, Joey Wendell, and Mike Zunino rounding it out. You got a couple of left-handed batters. No Kevin Kiermaier, as Lauren Shahadi reported, still dealing with a hand injury. And the left-hander on the mound, Framber Valdez. How good has he been, Ron?
He has been. Highest ground ball rate during the regular season, 60%. He's raised that to 67% in the postseason. Frenchie, how do you think these Tampa Bay Rays are going to attack Valdez?
They got, to me, you got to go early. If you see a fastball out over the zone, you got to attack, even if it's in or out.
And there he goes, swinging away at the first pitch, right down the middle. Brasso comes up empty.
It does play into Valdez's kind of coterie of pitches, though, because he could start having some ground balls and some easy innings.
Extreme ground ball pitcher. This is an excellent infield defense for the Houston Astros. That's another reason why Dusty Baker feels good about Aledmys Diaz in left field, knowing there's going to be a lot of ground balls with Valdez on the mound. So Diaz gets that start in left, allows Brantley to get off his feet defensively. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Brasso takes a strike. Fastball.
Dusty Baker was telling us before the game that when Tommy John would pitch and he gave up a lot of ground balls the night before, he knew he wasn't going to get too much action, so he could go out a little bit, maybe have some fun.
And then when Rick Sutcliffe was on the mound, he said, "You better get his sleep. Better get my rest." Oh, the stories he's been telling. A swing and a miss. Valdez strikes out Brasso. Guys, want to go back to the strike him out, throw him out to end the last inning. What'd you see there, Jeff?
Well, look, you're trying to stay out of the double play here. You trust a guy like Brantley, but at the same time, Ron, if you're going to get that bad of a jump, to me with Correa up next, you might as well just shut it down.
Base Cam presented by T-Mobile, connecting you to America's largest 5G network, and it was no contest for Zunino to throw out Altuve, and that means Correa will lead off the second. Here's Randy Arozarena. Slow roller, going to be a tough play. He can run, scooped up, and a throw to first in time. Bregman just eats those alive. He made one of the best plays of the series yesterday on a little slow roll to third base. Had a bare hand pickup. It was a key moment in the game as well, and he gobbles this one up.
Well, Arozarena has such a big cut. He doesn't get out of the box because he can fly.
There's so far 2 curveballs Valdez has thrown, 1 for a big strikeout, 1 for the groundout. 74 strikeouts now on curveballs, most in the big leagues this year.
And a lot of early swings as predicted. 6 pitches. He's got 2 outs on the board. Here is Hunter Renfroe.
Well, guys, and remember back to game 1, Renfroe struck out 3 times against Valdez, and I think, what do you see, 2 fastballs maybe? Got a plethora of those curveballs.
Renfroe told me he doesn't remember game 1 at all.
Yeah, for him, I hope not.
Short memory, struck out 4 times that game. But he's had his moment, Hunter Renfroe. He made a couple of brilliant catches, saving at least 2 runs, maybe 3 runs. Yeah, he's a fan favorite here. Longtime San Diego Padre. Up there in the condominium buildings. There's got a target up for him.
And I think that's why players love playing for Kevin Cash. You know, Kevin, hey, look, you had a bad first game, but you saw him. Now make your adjustment. You're the right guy in the right situation.
Renfroe drove in 2 runs in game 3. That was in a pinch hit appearance, had a double. So more so than the last memory against Valdez, it's the last memory in a big moment in game 3. Renfroe not only had that big hit, part of a 5-run inning in game 3, but also those 2 terrific catches. And he was the star of the game that night, and the Rays were sitting pretty after that game. They were up 3-0 in this series, but the Astros have won the last 2. The big hack by Renfroe, and it's 3-2 now.
That's a good tell right there. The first 3-1 count. What does Valdez throw? The curveball. This is his favorite weapon, and whenever he gets in trouble, he's going to go to that pitch.
3-2 pitch, another curve, and the same result. A swing and a miss. 12-pitch inning. Framber Valdez, couple of Ks. Here comes Correa after his walk-off moment in game 5. Second walk-off of this postseason. Correa will lead off when we continue from San Diego. Carlos Correa striding to the plate as we get ready to go in the second inning. No score. Both pitchers with a couple of Ks in that first inning. Snell and Valdez.
You know, I was mentioning that Correa's batted .342 in the post, but only 2 for 17 before that big home run last night.
He's hit a lot of balls hard, and that's been the story for the Astros. They got some low averages, but high exit velocity. But that kind of was the story of the first 3 games. The Astros couldn't buy a hit despite a lot of line drive outs. Correa had a line drive out yesterday, and then he decided to hit him where they don't put any fielders, over the fence. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Blake Snell.
Now the one caveat to him calling it that he's going to end the game. Do you know how many players call that they're going to end the game? Everyone in the lineup.
I'm sure Dusty heard that from everybody who was going to hit at that point.
That's why games, when you see them go to extra innings, usually take 17 innings, because everybody's trying to do that.
I got you, Skip.
Yep.
He got a big bear hug from his manager after the game. Second walk-off of this postseason. Freddie Freeman had one with the Braves in the wild card series, and then Correa yesterday for the Astros, forcing a game 6. Correa's had 3 walk-offs in his career, and 2 of those have been home runs, and this one a no-doubter. He had missed a curveball for the first strike, then he got a fastball and didn't miss. And pandemonium for the Houston Astros, knowing they had pushed this to a Game 6. Look out, up and in the shadows, 96 miles an hour, and Correa down to the seat of his pants. Oof.
I mean, it made doubly tough because of the shadows.
Yeah, for sure. But in Snell's thing, he's got to do this some. You got to let these right-handed hitters know you'll come inside. And to me, in Game 1, we never saw that.
Yeah, move their feet.
Yeah.
Snell has had 3 consecutive 3-2 counts, and Correa pops this one foul and out of play. Correa's walk-off yesterday was the 15th in baseball history in a game in which that player's team faced elimination. Those are the ones to extend seasons. Nick Anderson. Give a lot of credit to Nick Anderson. Much respect. He came on. He addressed the media on a Zoom call. A lot of closers will do that, and he was very poised in his response, understanding that's the nature of the game, and particularly in his role. I like seeing that. He looked like he was in the moment, said, hey, he got me that time, but we'll have another day. And I think for the Tampa Bay Rays, you got to feel like your loaded bullpen can match up with anybody who is remaining. They match up with anybody in the game, especially the 4 that are left.
It hasn't been an easy road for Anderson to success. Nothing can hurt him. Nothing can phase him.
There's a good lesson in that. Another 3-2 pitch. Correa in the air to right field. Little jam shot. That's going to fall. A base hit for Correa. Long battle. Got in on his hands, but the first hit of the game. And back in the stretch goes Blake Snell.
And this is what we saw in Game 1. A lot of 3-2 counts. We saw it to Altuve a little bit ago. Now 3-2. You foul off a couple and dump one in. So now that's for Snell. That's 9 pitches. That's something he's got to try to keep it down.
14 full counts in his last start.
The Rays are loaded for bear in their pen, however, today. Tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow, Charlie Morton, you would figure, would be the starter, but they could do some things. They could have Tyler Glasnow as an opener, perhaps. They would have options tomorrow as well. But after yesterday, when it was a little bit of desperation for both managers going deep into the bullpens, both managers feel good about where they are today. As Bregman lashes away at the first offering, he fouls it back.
Shocking to me that Bregman hasn't made any noise in the first 5 games.
3 for 19 in the series, Ronnie.
Don't be surprised if he comes out today. He's too good of a player.
He's a victim of all those line drive outs, which we've chronicled. He's got good numbers against Snell. He's got him twice with homers, hitting over 400 against his lefty. And he turns out, and oh my goodness, what a play by Wendell. Goes to second, out there, over to first, a double play. Are you kidding? Wow. Joey Wendell is looking like the best third baseman in the game in this series. He's made every play.
Yeah, Joey Wendell's not going to get a Christmas card from Alex Bregman this year. I mean, every ball he has hit right to him. Not only did he make a great play, how fast he got up to turn it on a good runner in Bregman.
It was hit with incredible top spin. He caught it right on his left hip and around the horn.
Well, he's one of the 2 left-handed bats that Kevin Cash keeps in the lineup against a left-handed starter, and that is the reason he has been a vacuum at third base. What an incredible display of glove work for Joey Wendell. So 2 outs, 1 swing of the bat. Here's Kyle Tucker, also on the first pitch. He fouls it away.
When's the last time we've done a series, guys, where one of the difference makers has been a person's defense? Very rare.
To me, and we've done a lot of these series over the years, Ronnie, and this is the best defensive series I've seen in my career, calling games and watching big league baseball games. This, not just the plays that are being made, but the diving catches. Wendell not just stopping the ball and getting 1 out, but turning it into 2. That one gets by Zunino, up and in on Tucker.
But with the lefty today, B.A., we were talking after the game yesterday, wondering, and we said, I don't see how you don't keep Wendell in there for defense. You can see that's a shadow right there. Never saw that ball till late. But the way Wendell is, you know, you got to believe, okay, he can spray it a little bit, but I need his defense in there. And already in the second inning, paid off.
Snell is a fly ball strikeout pitcher with most of his repertoire, but he does get the ground balls with his changeup, and those are typically ground balls on the left side of the infield. That one just missed. 2 balls and a strike. Joey Wendell has turned 9 double plays this series. The Tampa Bay Rays. Wendell has started a number of those himself. Kevin Cash even said as much, that we're not swinging the bats. This was prior to yesterday's game. We've got to hit. We've got to do our part as an offense, because right now the pitching and the defense, and add to the defensive positioning, is carrying the ball club and kind of hiding the lack of offense. It's pretty much been Randy Arozarena and everybody else for the Tampa Bay Rays. 3 balls and a strike, and he lost him. Snell walks Tucker. So already the third base runner, but a couple of double plays have wiped him out. Authentic caps, tees, jerseys, hoodies, and more. You can get all your postseason gear and cheer on your team at home with the official source, MLBshop.com.
Kevin Cash was very self-deprecating today. We asked him how difficult is it to hit in the shadows. He said, I spent my entire career hitting in the shadows. 9 p.m., noon time, 3 p.m. It didn't matter what time it was.
That was good.
Has a couple of rings, though, with the Yankees and the Red Sox. Kevin Cash, a swing and a miss. Gurriel jumping on that first offering as well.
But he didn't appear in any of those games for the Yankees or the Red Sox. So if the team does go to the World Series, the first World Series game he'll be managing.
That's it. And he grew up in Tampa. It's a great story. Kevin Cash was the youngest manager in the major leagues when he was hired. He's now in his 6th season. He's 42 years of age. He was 37 when he replaced Joe Madden in 2015. He is on the short list for manager of the year this year. And North Tampa roots, trying to guide his hometown team to a World Series. Last time the Rays made it to a World Series, Cash was a member of the Boston Red Sox organization that knows him well, especially Terry Francona. One ball, one strike on Yuli Gurriel. One and two now. Gets ahead of a hitter.
2 change-ups in a row there from Snell. You mentioned Terry Francona. We wish Tito well. We know the summer was a tough health summer for Terry Francona. So
you know he's watching proudly. Kevin Cash, one of his proteges. They were together in Cleveland as well. Cash played for him in Boston and then joined his coaching staff in Cleveland. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men are out. Tucker the runner at first. And that one missed. Not by much. You're right, Frenchie. That is a tight zone early.
That's tough to lay off right there on a 1-2 pitch.
But if you're a hitter right now, you get the sense that every close pitch could go your way, as opposed to an umpire that's really ringing you up.
Yeah, lets you lock in a little more.
Yep.
High pitch count, first 2 innings. Pitch number 38, and that gets by Zunino, and over to second base goes Tucker. That'll be a wild pitch, and it's another 3-ball count for Blake Snell.
And here's Gurriel with another chance, guys. Runner in scoring position, chance to drive a run in. It's the 10th game now that I've been talking to Dusty during these playoffs, and this is the guy every time, at least, he talks about we need him to come up, come through. He's been so good in the postseason. He has an opportunity right here.
Gurriel just 4 for 38. No extra base hits, just 1 run batted in. He's 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position this postseason. He's got a man there right now in Tucker. The 5th consecutive 3-ball count. 3-2 pitches outside, ball 4. Snell issues the walk. Back-to-back walks with 2 outs.
And this is kind of the picture you get with Snell, is that so far in his postseason career, he's been a guy that bends but doesn't break with runners on. They only bat 2 for 21 on him, 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position.
Kyle Snyder makes his first visit to the mound, the Rays pitching coach. Snell has a lot of traffic behind him. It's one of the reasons he does not go extended in games. He's a 5+ inning pitcher, even though he is their ace.
Well, in that instant, that last AB for Gurriel, he's struggling. The 1-2 pitch was close, but it gets to 2-2. When you have a struggling hitter, Ron, he's going to be a little more aggressive. He's trying to make something happen. Those 2 pitches he just threw him there, he didn't even have to decide if he was going to swing on him. He missed too much.
The only problem for Snell has been in this postseason is that, not even the postseason, the entire season, he's given up a lot of home runs, more home runs than he's ever given up before. So these mistakes and runners on puts him in a tough place.
Most of the home runs allowed are solo shots. Here's Aledmys Diaz. He's the left fielder today for the Astros. He's up in a big spot. Snell misses. You saw those numbers. Snell in this postseason, 1 for 13 runners in scoring position. The 1's a good number. The 13 is not. That's a lot of traffic behind him. He's given up 5 homers in the postseason this year, and 4 of them are solo shots. And that's in there for a strike. Top of the zone, 1-1 the count.
More balls than strikes so far early on this game for Snell.
He's issued 3 walks and a hit. He's had 2 double plays, a strike him out, throw him out, and then a 5-4-3 double play on a hard hit ground ball by Bregman. A roller in the hole. Adames backhands it, got a long throw, and it's a good one. Strong arm shortstop Willy Adames, and Snell strands 2. He's labored through the first 2, but nothing on the board. He's got an excellent defense behind him, especially that left side. They're making plays already. We are scoreless here, game 6 of this ALCS. 3rd consecutive elimination opportunity for the Tampa Bay Rays. Jumped out 3-0 in this series. Astros have won the last 2, and they know it's win or go home. A win forces a game 7. Blake Snell having a chat with Kyle Snyder. He's labored through the first 2 innings, but no damage yet. And here we go to the Rays half of the 2nd. Yandy Diaz will lead off, and Framber Valdez pours in a strike. He's had good command early. 3 up, 3 down first inning with 2 strikeouts. He finished off each of the 3 at-bats in the first inning with a curveball, and he looks like he has got a dandy going so far today. And that ball is just foul. Wow. Diaz tried to shoot one to the opposite field, or he was just significantly late. Not by much, though, huh? No. First base umpire Manny Gonzalez right on top of it. Quickly 0-2 the count on Diaz. It's been a struggle for him. 3 for 22 this postseason. Does not have an RBI. He has been drawing walks, though. He has 8 walks and a .367 on base percentage, despite only 3 hits. The 1-2, and down he goes, and another finishing curve for Valdez, out number 1 here in the 2nd inning. Check in with Lauren Shahadi.
He's free and easy, isn't he, Brian? His mantra is roughly translated to beat the game. Don't let the game beat you. He used to let the importance of the moment lead to doubt, so he wouldn't attack the zone like we're seeing today. He was almost scared. That's letting the game beat you in his mind. He's overcome it.
Whatever he's done, whatever mindset, he's found it. And the Astros, and you don't want to fall into the recency bias right now, but the way he's pitching in these postseason games, I mean, they might have a legit star on their hands in Framber Valdez.
I do. I think this was his time for everybody to see him shine. This is the second time y'all have seen him this postseason, third time for me. He just comes right at hitters, and he's through a tunnel zone with that fastball, curveball, and he just pitches off both of them.
Facing Brandon Lau, and that's right off the end of the bat. That's going to fall for a base hit. Lau dropped down in the order to fit today. He's got his first hit of the game. Homered yesterday. A hitter in a monumental slump, but he had a big moment yesterday when he tied the game with a long ball and a curveball that is delivered for a base hit here for the Rays.
Well, just off the end of the bat, a hitter that certainly needs a little luck to go his way as he tries to get out of that slump.
Lau was 4 for 45 in the postseason prior to that hit, 2 for his last 40. That's a bat the Rays are desperate to get going. He can carry a ball club. He's been their best hitter all year. Here's Margot now. First ball swinging, cuts right through it. '26-year-old Framber Valdez out of the Dominican Republic. You look at his numbers presented by DraftKings, go inside, and the most curveball strikeouts this season coming into today's game, 73 of them.
76 now, include this one.
Strikeouts at Brasso, Renfroe, and Diaz, right-handed batters. Curveball's the result pitch, isn't it? Usually, either a ball in play, batted ball, or a strikeout for Framber Valdez. Pitched 5 innings in relief in Game 1 of the wild card series against the Twins, was brilliant. Started Game 2 in the division series against Oakland. 7 innings there, just 2 runs. Did give up 2 homers. And then he pitched to Jim in Game 1 of this ALCS, took a loss. But Frenchie, you made the argument yesterday, their first 2 starts kind of set them up for what they were able to do yesterday.
They would have never had a chance to have that bullpen game and have all those guys. If you look at their starters, Valdez 6, Greinke 6, McCullers 7, Urquidy 5, and Urquidy could have gave him more, I thought, at that time.
And the youngster who pitched yesterday really was kind of a glorified opener. So
yeah.
The Astros going with rookie Luis Garcia yesterday, and essentially doing what the Rays are more comfortable with, using the opener. But that's really all that Dusty Baker had available to him, was to make it a bullpen day, starting with Garcia, and it worked beautifully.
We saw Altuve go a minute ago. See if Lau goes here. Big ground ball guy in Valdez.
Here's a 3-2, and Margot takes a called strike 3, and another at bat ends with a curveball. Margot looks at one go by. 4 Ks for Valdez.
Well, this froze him because it was a backdoor curveball, and he gets the call from Tim Timmons. Ball just floats off the corner of the plate, came back enough for Timmons' liking.
For a hitter, that's almost impossible to pull the trigger on.
The strobe effect through the shadows. 2 men are out, runner at first. Adames takes a strike.
I was lucky enough to pitch with Sid Fernandez from Hawaii, and he had that exact same curveball, and we used to call it was the curveball that was seldom swung at. No one could pull the trigger.
El Cid. That ball's hit hard into left center field. That is going to shoot the gap, and to the wall it goes. Lau can run. He's around third, on his way to the plate, and he will score. Willie Adames, a 2-out RBI double, and it's 1-0 Tampa Bay. This is a very fast track here at Petco Park. The infield, the outfield grass is cut extremely tight, and that ball just shot the gap.
Now, perfect pitch, middle. The perfect way not to hit the curveball. Don't miss the fastball. We saw La Rosarena hit a home run in game 1 against him here. Adames shoots the gap. Lau with great speed. This was never, when you saw the ball split the gap, he had it the whole way.
Astros outfield had him shaded into right center field with Springer. And Adames delivers the first run of the game. Tampa Bay's had great success scoring first in this postseason. They have not lost a game yet. 5-0, and they're 30-6 this season when they score first. Willy Adames, he makes a terrific play to end the top of the second, and now delivers a run with 2 outs in the bottom half. Joey Wendell. Ooh, that hit him, or a foul ball? That's a foul ball.
We've seen so few 2-out RBI hits. I'm thinking Zunino's hit early in the series. Have not seen a lot.
Those are the numbers. 5-0 when they score first, and that has a lot to do with their excellent bullpen. Feels like it's a race to the 6th inning when you match up against the Tampa Bay Rays. No balls and 2 strikes on Joey Wendell. Wendell's big hit in game 3, the 2 RBI single that put the Rays ahead, came on an 0-2 pitch. Just shot one the other way. He's been good driving the ball to the opposite field. Both of his hits that day in game 3 came to left field. We'll see his numbers. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Those are regular season numbers. A .250 hitter. Adames yapping it up with Carlos Correa. He's got a big lead at second. Valdez the 1-2, and that is a called strike 3. Wendell's rung up. A strikeout to end the inning. Valdez has 5, but the Rays get on the board first. Lau gets rid of the helmet, sprints his way to the plate to score the game's first run. Adames drives him in. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Goodyear celebrating the endless pursuit of forward momentum. Goodyear, more driven. Beautiful day to fly. Beautiful day for a lot of things here on the West Coast, including a ball game. Game 6 of this ALCS. Maldonado showing bunt, takes a strike.
In the day, we used to always say, "Who's going to run for you?" When a guy would,
when you get the bunt down.
yes.
Maldonado looking at his bench right there. He was taking a little bit of
He didn't really
good-natured ribbing.
He didn't scare Joey Wendell at 3rd. He went right back.
Wendell not budging. Maldonado is 0 for 6 in his career against Blake Snell. He's an interesting hitter. He's not a huge threat at the plate, but he can be in moments, and he's kind of been hiding in the weeds with all these great hitters of the Astros. He's already delivered some big hits in this series. Ground ball to 3rd. Wendell with plenty of time to make the play, and there is out number 1. Well, the best way to overcome racism is through education. That's why Jordan Brand is launching Real Talk. It's an honest dialogue highlighting real issues with real conversations to create real solutions. To watch the full episode, visit Jordan Brand on the YouTube channel, or open the camera on your phone now and scan the flow code. One man gone. Top of the order, here is Springer, and he takes a ball.
So Snell's faced 10 hitters. He's thrown strikes to 7 out of the 10. But he's had 5 3-ball counts. So that usually doesn't happen when you're pounding the strike zone. But he's kind of getting that strike over, but then working from behind after that.
And did he go? They'll ask. He did. A swing by Springer. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you see guys' averages jump up sometimes second time. Snell pretty big. 140 his first AB, 307 this time through the lineup. See what kind of adjustments these hitters make on him today.
Snell in the bright sunshine, that little patch of sunlight on the mound now, and then into the shadows. This is with a fastball. These hitters know they just got to hang on for another half hour or so, and then things get a lot better. You played here, Frenchie. These shadows can be pretty severe, and we've seen it throughout this postseason. A slow roller foul. One of the themes for the Astros coming into this postseason, even though they had a record under 500 in the shortened 60-game schedule, they were 29-31. Is if they could just make it, telling Dusty Baker, we just get there, then we're in business. And one of those reasons is because of all the experience they have. Today, Altuve, Correa, Bregman, Gurriel, and Springer competing in their 56th playoff game together. And this incredible run the Astros have had over the last 4+ seasons, including a World Series title in 17. Been the dominant team in the American League. Their postseason pedigree, 50 or more postseason games played. They've been in 4 straight ALCS. Those 2 World Series appearances, and of course the 17 championship, and of course the sign stealing scandal that is a cloud over this organization, and one of the main reasons they are trying to play their way through that and beyond that. Springer, a swing and a miss. A strikeout. Blake Snell picks up his 3rd K.
The good curveball, 62% whiff rate on this pitch, best of any starter in baseball by Blake Snell. Just rolls right off the table.
Seeing some good curveballs today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Framber Valdez and Blake Snell.
Snell's comes right out of his hand breaking, and when you see Valdez's, it's different. You know, when you bowl and you throw the ball down the lane and it stays straight for a while and then breaks, that's Valdez's.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Bowling analogy, nice.
Well, I told you guys that my bowling name is G-Man Choi.
That's true story.
That's
Jeff.
true.
It's G-Man Choi.
Yes, every time.
I would love to bowl with G-Man Choi, though.
Yeah,
the real one.
There's a lot of things we'd love to do with G-Man Choi. G-Man Choi hit a big home run, and without the Correa home run, you're talking about that as one of the signature moments of the game yesterday. Choi's game-tying home run, which was a no-doubter into the bleachers and right. That was in the 8th inning. It's been the way the series has gone. Down to the last at-bat in every game.
Now look, the Astros guys being down 3-0. I think one thing you heard from them, look, it's not ideal, but they felt they could come back, was their experience in the postseason.
Yes.
And you had 6 guys, the 5 guys you saw, adding Josh Reddick, with over 200 plate appearances in the postseason. So being in those scenarios, you know, I think these guys would tell you it doesn't bother us.
Yeah, not panicking is key in the postseason anyway.
2 balls and a strike on Jose Altuve with 2 outs. That one missed. Snell walked him last time up. Snell pitches up in the strike zone. He's got great velocity. The Astros are a high velocity hitting team. They handle not just high velocity, but that velocity up in the strike zone as well. We've seen it. Altuve turned around a couple of shoulder high fastballs on the ground, right down the middle. That pitch And Altuve is out. 1-2-3 inning. Shutdown inning for Snell. After the Rays get a run in the second, Snell goes through the order in the third. League Championship Series on TBS. It's presented by Geico. Museum of Art, Balboa Park. One of the many tourist stops. One of the great stops here in this beautiful area of our country, San Diego, California. It's been home to the American League postseason. The winner of this ALCS will head to Arlington, Texas, and a trip to the World Series. Mike Zunino takes strike one. A curveball in for a strike.
Hated I couldn't get out to that Museum of Art this time around.
Next time out, man. Just the hotel to the ballpark in the bubble, right? They've treated us well here. Congratulations to Major League Baseball. No, we're not at the end yet, but they've done a great job setting us up, setting everybody up, the players, and us as a network, TBS. Fortunate to be able to bring you games as Zunino grounds to short. Correa takes a strong throw for out number one. Moment ago, Lauren Shahadi caught up with Astros manager Dusty Baker.
Dusty, Valdez getting strikeouts on the curve. What have you seen so far?
Well, so far it's tough to see, you know, on both sides. But his curveball is working, and you know, we got hurt on the fastball. I think you know, that Adames hit, but you know, both sides are playing good ball, and you know, right now both left-handers are getting the breaking balls over.
Move Correa up. Why?
Well, because he's hot, and you know, Breggy's swinging the bat well, but he's not getting much to show for it. So I moved him up because I moved the hot bat and wanted as many hot bats in consecutive order in the lineup as possible.
Thanks for the time, Dusty.
You're welcome.
We record those interviews between innings. There's something poetic about a Dusty Baker interview with Earth, Wind, and Fire playing in the background. It's been a music lesson every day, hasn't it? Talking to Dusty Baker. It's been taking us through the blues, Freddie King, namely. Mike Brasso facing Valdez here with one out.
Yes. He said he was listening to Freddie King because Freddie's got a song going to Dallas, Palace of the King.
Palace of the King. That's one of the lines in there.
He also told us about a walk-off his winemaker he was talking to last night. It's Walk-Off Red.
That's right. He's got a wine. He said, I spoke to my winemaker today. I said, wow. Dusty, when you start a sentence with "I spoke to my winemaker," you've won life.
Yeah,
I mean, you've won.
You're living large.
He is living large. At 71 years of age, he is so happy to be back as a bench manager in the major leagues. 5th team he has taken to the playoffs. Mike Brasso hitting in the leadoff spot for Kevin Cash today. Had his signature moment in Game 5 of the division series against Aroldis Chapman. That was an 8th inning home run that gave him the lead and helped him advance. And the question that's been swirling around is, what's a bigger home run? Brasso's home run in the 8th or Correa's walk-off home run yesterday? Take away the home team version of that from a neutral setting. What do you guys think?
What do you got, friends? I mean, it's easy for me.
Brasso.
Yeah,
Brasso.
because of the backstory.
It's the Yankees. They've been on each other for 3-4 years. And versus Chapman.
Swing and a miss. Brasso strikes out. And another curveball lands him another K. He's got 6 now from Valdez.
6 Ks, and they've all been on the curveball. He's got a couple of different styles. He's got the big bender that just doesn't stop. He'll throw one a little harder that he'll sometimes bounce. That's the backdoor one. Right-handers don't have a chance. But the control of his curveball is something that you don't usually see. I mean, he's got as good a control of his curveball as he does his fastball.
And he's also in possession of a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. So there is that other level to it as well you have to respect as a hitter.
The only problem is fastball has been up in the zone. Usually when it's good, it's on the knees.
Willie Adames turned that fastball around for an RBI double in the second. That's the lone run in the game. Drops another curveball in there. Landing the plane is Framber Valdez with that hook. He got a Rosarena on a ground out last time up with that curve. The 2-1, another curve, and that one's low. Take a look inside the numbers presented by DraftKings. The guy hitting the ball as hard as anybody in the game right now in the postseason. 95 or better is how you classify a hard hit ball. 23 of them thus far for Randy Arozarena, the rookie. He's got 20 hits this postseason. And swings like that can produce some serious exit velocity.
You see, if I'm Valdez here, I'm throwing that same pitch. And if I walk him, I don't really care. Last time they faced each other, we saw him get a two-seamer up in the zone and hit it dead center.
Wonder if there's anything to that little move behind the mound for Valdez. Back in a crouch. Payoff pitch, 2 outs. And he lost him. So Rosarena is aboard. 2-out walk. First walk issued by Valdez. A pitcher with great command. That's what's been so impressive. He's 26. He's not a young rookie pitcher, but the fact that he is pitching with this great command at these kind of pressure moments. Ray scored on a 2-out hit last inning. Now Hunter Renfroe at the plate. Trying to get that fastball down, Ron. Just can't find the spot.
Well, that's going to jump his pitch count, because when he gets that ball on the bottom of the strike zone, it will produce a lot of ground balls, and it'll get him out of innings.
6 strikeouts, 46 pitches. Hunter Renfroe hitting third. The former Padres had a lot of success in this ballpark. Big home run hitter here with San Diego. Was traded to the Rays. Tommy Pham deal. Renfroe with 45 career home runs here at Petco. That's the third most in this park's history. As Correa and Maldonado want to have a chat here with Valdez.
His control has been a little off. They're gathering around him, trying to get him to be a little more aggressive, but he's still going to have to be very careful on this 2-0 pitch to Renfroe.
Yeah, I was going to say, you think it's a little bit, don't just groove this one right down the middle. A guy with his power, he's struck out the last 4 times he's faced him on curveballs. Got to be hunting a heater.
Renfroe makes his professional baseball living on 2-0 fastballs.
Looked to me like Correa was the only one talking in that group of 3. 2-0 the count. And he goes back to the curve and gets the same result. A swing and a miss. Valdez has owned Renfroe in his 4 matchups against him. 4 at-bats, 4 strikeouts, including a K in the first inning to end the first. Great speed at first and a Rosarena. A swing and a miss. He's found the hole.
Well, his breaking ball's been there, his fastball's not. But what I didn't address coming into this game, remember in the 9th inning yesterday, he did throw in the bullpen. He did get to the point where he could come into a game. So he certainly did use up some bullets yesterday in the bullpen.
He was going to be the 10th inning pitcher if it went there. A little step off move there from Valdez. Again, that's a tough throw for a first baseman to catch at this point. Kind of staring into that sun. That's risky.
The step off and fire, the ones right over Rosarena, so Gurriel had to step over him, not on him.
T-Mobile base cam, Rosarena back easily. 2-2 the count on Renfroe. Lays off a curve that time, and it's 3-2 now.
He's going to get one more.
Yes, you're darn right. And this one's going to be a little bit more out over the plate and try to get him to go. Renfroe try to find a way to shoot this to right field.
Rosarena will be off with the pitch. There he goes. 3-2 is in there for a called strike 3. Renfroe was going to make him throw a strike. He wasn't going to bite, and Valdez gets that strike. 7 strikeouts for Framber Valdez, but he's down 1-0. 3 in the books. Here for your favorite team during the postseason from home. MLB's Cheer at the Ballpark. Let your team hear your excitement. Visit MLB.com/cheer to join in. Hi, Mom. A lot of signs from that particular apartment up there. TBS yesterday. There's a game 7. Wonder what she'll have in mind for us.
Maybe a dad.
No fans allowed in, but there are fans all around the area here. Petco Park, a downtown setting, all these condominiums, apartment buildings. And there are a lot of people out on the balconies checking it out, soaking up some sun. Michael Brantley starting this 4th inning. And in the air left field, gonna slice foul. That's gonna be in the seats. They are allowing fans in the ballpark in Arlington, Globe Life. And if the Astros make it to the World Series, that would be just about 3 hours away from Houston, Texas.
How many are they letting in Arlington? Like
11.
11,000,
Yeah.
so a quarter maybe of the capacity.
Bradley up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. Michael Bradley singles to start this 4th inning. Lauren caught up with Kevin Cash, the Rays skipper, between innings.
Kevin, a clean inning for Snell. Is he working more efficiently?
Well, let's hope. I mean, he's really maximizing his pitches and giving different looks. He's going to have to continue doing that to a really talented lineup.
He questioned a few calls. What have you thought of the zone so far?
I think all the umpires have done a tremendous job to date, and Tim's right on par.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And our thanks to Kevin Cash. Talking about Tim Timmons, home plate umpire. Michael Brantley with a base hit to start it. He's hitting 10 straight now, Brantley. And here is Correa.
Something interesting, too, guys, to think about real quick. This is probably going to be the first inning now for both teams with no shadows. Really not an issue anymore.
They have survived the most difficult part of the day for a hitter in this ballpark. As we play here in the 4th inning. No balls and a strike on Correa. Lauren, I know you had a chance to catch up with Carlos before the game. You guys talked about this specific matchup with Blake Snell. What do you have to say?
Yeah, he said we have to make him throw strikes. He tries to get you to chase. He's tricky. If you make him work, he'll go 5 innings, 100 pitches.
Lives off the chase. I thought that was a great description of facing Blake Snell.
1 ball, 1 strike. Right down the middle. Correa takes it for strike 2. Correa with 2 walk-off home runs in the postseason in his career now. He joins David Ortiz and Bernie Williams. Those are the only 3 with multiple walk-off home runs in the postseason. One-two pitch. He got him. Snell with that slider down and in. Correa strikes out. That's number 4 for Blake Snell. Comes back after the single by Brantley to get the K.
Started him with a changeup, got ahead of him with the big curve, and put him away with a slider down and in. That's quite a repertoire for Blake Snell.
Yeah, you do that, you're mixing all those pitches. You make it tough on a hitter.
Nasty slider and a big swing and a miss. So Correa, 1 out of 2 in this one. That brings up Alex Bregman, who bounced into a double play last time up. He hit a hot one over to third base. Joey Wendell picked it and then started a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. You heard Lauren ask Dusty Baker about the flip-flop in the lineup. Correa and Bregman. Correa's just been moving up and up that batting order. Oh, and to the count on Bregman. Tampa Bay scoring their run in the second. Willy Adames with a 2-out run producing double. Snell's got Bregman 0-2 and a good block back there by Zunino. Keeps Brantley at first. Brantley's not running well. He took 2 foul balls off his foot in game 4. And it'll slow him down a little bit. So much so, Dusty Baker didn't want to chance him playing in the field. Made him the DH today. Ready for a 1-2. Snell will check on Brantley. That's going to slice foul. He's late on it. Ron mentioned Snell giving up the home runs this year, the highest of his career per 9 innings. He gave up 1.8 home runs per 9 this year. He had his lowest walks per 9 of his career. Those two might go hand in hand. More control, trying to pound the strike zone more.
Well, if you include the post, over the course of a 200-inning season, he would give up around 34, 35. That's a high number for a pitcher of his talent.
1-2 the count. We'll do it again. Brantley the runner at first. In the dirt again. Part of that also has to do with game situation. Blake Snell pitched with the lead a lot this season. He got nearly 7 runs of support this year. Had the 6th highest number in Major League Baseball in run support this season. That affects how aggressive you'll pitch as well when you have a lead, especially a sizable lead. He's got a slim lead right now, 1-0. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bregman. Sometimes it feels like, Ron, that Snell, this is all calculated by design with runners on base. This is the way he pitches, but it's almost like he's trying to take a little starch out of the hitter in moments like this.
Yeah, the delay tactic, right? I think it's more for him, though, that he's deliberate by nature, but when runners get on base, he wants to even be more deliberate, taking his time to make sure every pitch is right.
Little half swing. Diaz is over. Play is at second base. They get the out. Nice play by Yandy Diaz. They were not going to get Bregman. And with Brantley not running well, he had some time, and that's his second out. Rays get the lead man in this 4th inning.
Well, every experienced first baseman knows the best play when you're going there, you got all your momentum going there, is to play at second base.
And now we talked the second time through the lineup how Snell would attack these hitters. Ron, you said it with Correa. Talk about mixing it up every pitch. That time, 2 fastballs, 2 changeups, 2 of those slider curves to Bregman. So doing a good job of getting in no pattern.
Got the force play at second base for out number 2. It's been a revolving door over at first base. You've seen Brasso there and Yandy Diaz, Ji-Man Choi. All part of the Rays way. Versatile players that can play all around. Their regular second baseman is in left field today, and Brandon Lau. Here's Tucker now. 2 outs in the inning. Another smother by Zunino.
Tucker with a great walk first at bat, and he's had a lot of success this postseason It's a guy that had 27 extra base hits during the season. 0 still this postseason.
Maybe their most consistent hitter during the regular season. Still waiting for that signature hit here in this series.
Had a 3-hit game in Game 4 of the division series against the A's. And he's way out in front of that one. A pop up in the infield. Drifting into foul territory. Yandy Diaz will make the catch, and Blake Snell gives up a leadoff single but gets through it. He's got 4 shutout on the board. The Rays, the Astros, Game 6 of this American League Championship Series on TBS. Hey, 1 in 5 kids in the U.S. may not be able to afford to play Little League. For every text of Little League to 313131, T-Mobile will donate $1 to their Little League call-up grant program so our kids can keep playing ball. Ah, the girls of summer. Yeah. Look at those ball players right there. Did we spot a little Frenchie in there somewhere?
I don't know. That girl with the 2-1 on her face, she was cute little thing. Thank you to our crew for doing that.
Yeah, a lot of our crew, they're missing their families, especially those in our crew have been in the double bubbles. Yandy Diaz leads off. Little swinging bunt. Maldonado pounces, throws in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Framber Valdez. Yeah, we want to send a shout out to all of those from our crew that had been in the NBA bubble and then here to the MLB bubble. It's been a thrilling ride, an experience we'll never forget.
Again, the quickness of Maldonado on display.
And a great job. Anytime the catcher can get that, that's a more natural throw for him than the pitcher.
1 away. Framber Valdez has given up the 1 run, 2 out. RBI double by Adames in the second. That was on a fastball. He's got 7 strikeouts that have all ended with a curveball. Brandon Lau scored that run in the second after he singled in the second inning on a curveball. Guys, today Lau gets the start in left field. First time this postseason. It's the 5th start of his career in left field. He did it a lot more last year as a rookie. Was an all-star last year as a rookie. Finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting. Ideally, the Rays want their players to be able to not just be utility players, Frenchie, but super utility players, meaning you can play infield and outfield. And today, Kevin Cash with no Kevin Kiermaier finding Lau in left field.
They've done that. Ben Zobrist, they've had plenty of those type guys. And look, as I said, Lau caught 2 balls in the outfield yesterday as a second baseman when they did the 4-man outfield.
Is there less stress playing in the outfield than you would be playing in the infield? Can it help your offense, I guess, is the question.
Are you trying to say that us outfielders don't have as much stress?
I mean,
did you get that, Ron?
Exactly,
I felt like
exactly what he said to you.
There's time to pick daisies out there. I don't see any daisies in the infield.
You're lucky. Frenchie's this close to throwing off that mic and filling this place with uppercuts.
You know what? Sometimes just the thought maybe of moving him somewhere else, getting your mind off something.
Yeah.
He had a day off the other day, and look, he had a better day yesterday. Flew out and then hit the home run and got a hit here. So seems to be working.
Lau beats one into the ground. That's Altuve, and he'll make the play. Good throw there by Jose Altuve. He fired one to first base, right on the money. You saw the strikeout number there for Valdez. He has had 7 through the first 3 innings. That's an Astros postseason record. Pitching here in the 4th.
I was watching Altuve take ground balls before the game. Fielded about 25 to 30. Every throw spot on and perfect.
Yeah, and there's a little bit different cadence, I think, to the way he's throwing the ball, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not being so deliberate, trying to create a little more pace to it. Not just trying to throw it harder, but a little more pace in how he gloves and throws. But it hasn't changed the fact that Correa's been over there on the shift every time, where Altuve was earlier in the series, where he committed 2 of his 3 errors.
Well, with Lau's speed there, he had to get rid of it quick. So like you said, doesn't have time to think about what's going on.
2 outs for Margot. On the ground, Bregman. And a good inning for Framber Valdez. That's a 9-pitch inning, 3 outs on the ground, 4 in the books. We go to the 5th in Game 6, 1-0 Rays.
MLB postseason on TBS is brought to you by DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Download the app to try it free today. And by HBO Max, stream all new originals, movies, and more.
These two starting pitchers are pitching well. Framber Valdez, Blake Snell. It's 1-0 Rays. Willy Adames had a 2-out RBI double in the second inning. That's the difference in the game. Snell back to work facing Yuli Gurriel. He's got the bottom of the Astros order coming up. Gurriel, Aledmys Diaz, Martin Maldonado. Got a part of the batting order that Snell knows he must contain, with the big bats looming at the top. Strike to Gurriel. Snell with 4 strikeouts thus far. He's given up only 2 hits. Stranded 2 Astros in the second inning.
Brian, how about focusing on his game plan? He's faced 16 batters now. He's thrown 4 first pitch fastballs. A guy that throws 97, 98 miles an hour. 4 first pitch fastballs
out of the first 16 batters.
That's game planning.
Well, think about what they've done. Off glass now, fastballs.
Yeah.
Anderson yesterday, fastballs. Snell the first time, Altuve. So this team looking to hunt fastballs.
3 changeups in a row here.
He's got the 4-pitch mix, as they say. Fastball, slider, curve, change. Had a 3-up, 3-down inning in the third, but has had some traffic behind him in the other frames. He missed that time. 3 balls and a strike on Gurriel, who walked in the second inning. Gurriel standing right on top of the plate. And Snell misses again, so again he walks Gurriel. Take a look at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. What color were we supposed to lay off of, Frenchie?
Well, we were supposed to lay off the yellow and hit the blue, and so far today the yellow has given these Astros hitters some problems.
That's the cold play, right?
Yep. Yep.
4 outs on that slider, a couple of strikeouts. Kyle Snyder on his way out with Zunino.
It's been interesting, right? The 2 different ways the pitching coaches for both teams. Brent Strom has really been patient. He hasn't come out for many visits. And with Kyle Snyder, he's been really on top of it. Anytime he feels like his pitcher has gotten any bit out of whack, he's out there.
Look at Adames. His head on his pitcher's shoulder. It's very tight-knit club. Both of them are. Don't forget, coming up later tonight, elimination opportunity for the Atlanta Braves. They're up 3-1 in that series. In ALCS Game 5 coming up at 9:08 Eastern on FS1. And they will have some fans in the stands in Arlington. Not the case here in San Diego, and there are individuals in charge of ballpark sounds and trying to give us a bit of a feel of what a crowd would feel like as Aledmys Diaz steps in to bat with a man on. And Lauren, I know you've done some investigative reporting on the crowd sounds here at Petco.
Indeed, and to emulate a playoff environment, Brian, they're using sound engineers. These guys produce Aerosmith, they produce Sting. So if you're standing at home looking at the press box, it's 4 people to the right of where you guys are in the booth. 1 operator's in charge of the constant murmur you hear of the crowd, another following the game, anticipating the cheers and the boos. They also, I found this interesting, they met with both teams and took into account how fans may sound at the Trop or at Minute Maid, and they customized the sound to that.
It does present. We were all wondering what it was going to be like this year with the artificial crowd noise, but it does give just a layer of noise that I think the players appreciate. We didn't know how it was going to go. It's a swing and a foul by Diaz, and it's 2-1. There is bullpen activity. Diego Castillo, who has finished off games very well for Kevin Cash. looking like he might be the closer for the starter in this one, especially with the top of the Astros order looming. Swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. Was that the slider right there?
Yes, it was. He's put both pitches in a good place, though. Get that ball a little up in the strike zone. Diaz has tremendous power.
Astros, 3 of the 5 innings have had their lead man reach. Gurriel with a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. 2-2 the count. Diaz rolls over one foul.
And this to me is where he's got to put his sights, guys, to right center. Shoot that little hole. You see the shift they have. It's a great opportunity with that slider changeup. He's looking for a rollover to either Wendell or Damas for the double play. So right here, put your eyesight over that way and see if you can shoot the hole.
They'd have their leadoff man on 3 out of the 5 innings.
A little bit of a shift on. Rays looking to turn 2 though on a ground ball. And there is a ground ball that's going to be through for a base hit. Ledmus Diaz with a single to left field, and now the Astros get something cooking. 2 on from the bottom of their order, nobody out, and Martin Maldonado, the catcher, coming up. Decision time here. Kevin Cash is going to make a change. Blake Snell 4+, and Cash is going to go to the fireman right now. Snell is furious. He got his ground ball and just found a hole.
And that's the first ground ball we've seen go through the hole on that side, I think, all series.
Kevin Cash and the Tampa Bay Rays, they're telling you right now, we can win this 1-0 if we have to.
And he's going to his stable of guys. First one out of there, Diego Castillo.
Presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Whether you're swinging for the fences, the parking lot, or across the country, Goodyear, more driven. Petco Park, San Diego. Blake Snell is out. This is a 1-0 game here in the 5th inning. 4+2 batters for Snell. And their ace is out with 2 runners that are his responsibility. And a couple of questions for you guys. First, Diego Castillo on the mound. Is this too early? Is this the right move for the Rays?
I think they're going to use something they used in Game 5 against the Yankees. On 2 days rest, Tyler Glasnow only went 2 1/3, but they went to the combination of Anderson, Fairbanks, and Castillo. They'll go to that same combination, just in different order tonight.
I'll let you know in about 7 minutes. Look, if they're able to get a run or 2 here, they've taken out their best guy to me for Tampa right now. Because Diego Castillo to me is the guy with the tough slider and 97 down that really has done a good job with this Astros lineup.
The other question is, do you think Maldonado might drop a bunt down?
Well, we've seen him in the postseason bunt before. No one's really bunting this year.
He does square. Maldonado is an excellent bunter. He does not run well. He's probably more of a risk to bounce into a double play. So that comes into play in a spot like this, but he can execute the bunt. And I say that because there are a lot of big league hitters that don't bunt, and they can't bunt at this point because they never do it.
You wouldn't trust him in this situation.
And he gets the bunt down, and it's a good one. Only play is first base. Zunino's throw is good. That's a sacrifice for Maldonado. 2nd and 3rd in the top of the order coming up for Houston.
We never see it, and I agree, but I love this move here. If you have a guy that can handle the bat like Maldonado, now you have Springer and Altuve. You give yourself a chance. Fly ball, you get 1 run. Base hit, you get 2.
I mean, perfect form, good balance by Maldonado, perfectly placed.
And a good play by Zunino to get the out.
Right on the end of the bat, kills it on the end of the bat. You're supposed to catch that ball with the bat when you bunt the ball. Perfect form. Yeah, you give yourself a chance to score against a great pitcher, Castillo.
With 2 of your best players.
Without a base hit.
Yep.
Infield in.
And a shift on with the infield in. So 3 infielders on the left side. That's Wendell Adames and Brasso over there. It is going to be a mad scramble for Diaz if there's a ground ball on that side, if there's no play at the plate. Springer at the plate. 1 out, 1-0 Rays. And that gets by Zunino, and staying put at third base is Gurriel. Ejecto meant that time. Look, Diego Castillo, and we've talked to Kevin Cash about this, he's not an easy guy to catch. His stuff dances all over the place.
I looked like a backup slider. That's what made it tough for Zunino.
There has not been an outfield flyout in this game. Springer, at the very least, trying to get one in the air to the outfield. Best arm in the outfield is in right with Hunter Renfroe. But they all throw it well. Lau, Margot, and Renfroe. Tying run at third. Go ahead run at second. Castillo deals. On the ground through for a base hit. Springer will drive at least one in. Now they're going to wind out Diaz, and he will score. A 2-run single for George Springer, and the Astros have a 2-1 lead.
And guys, you talk about turning back the clock. Dusty Baker sack bunting him over, second and third. You see the shift. Springer, we've seen the home runs, the huge things. What does he do right here, guys? Cuts his swing down, notices the big hole, and look at that. Shoots a lazy ground ball right through the thing, puts the lead up 2-1.
You got a fastball against Springer.
But playing the game, that's playing the game.
Beautiful piece of hitting. It drives in a pair, and now the Astros have flipped the scoreboard against one of the Rays' best. Those runs belong to Snell. And George Springer delivers again. As clutch as it gets in the postseason, this guy.
Watch the running game here.
Be a good time, wouldn't it? Altuve at the plate, and he laces one left field line. That ball is down off the wall on a bounce. Springer around third. The throw goes to second, and Springer will score. It's a double for Altuve. It's an RBI. Springer goes all the way around as Lau's throw into second base.
Well, and this is where Lau goes to the outfield, guys. Not used to playing out there in left field. If this ball is thrown to the cutoff man, there's a great chance Springer's out at home. He never stopped.
So a hanging slider from Castillo that stays up in the strike zone, hooked into left field by Altuve. The big break is it didn't bounce over the wall, stayed in play. Lau here now. Again, back to now we're watching the base runner, and you see Lopez was going to send him the entire way. The key was Lau in left field did not throw the ball to the cutoff man, the shortstop. He threw the ball at second base.
What a big inning here for the Astros as Castillo comes on. 3 runs are in, and Springer, his mad dash from first base to score on a double to left.
It looked like he looked at the cutoff man first and then threw across. You see, Brasso wasn't expecting that ball to come.
Well, you have to know Altuve's got enough speed. It's just a stand-up double. It's never the problem. So he had to come home with that, and a mistake.
And the tough thing for him, though, is as an outfielder, you know your time usually,
right,
because you've done it so many times. So when that ball, as you said, Ron, came back quick, a guy that normally plays the outfield would know I got a chance to bang him out at home right here. For him, he's not used to that.
Only 5 games in left field this season. And Lau, for the first time of this postseason, you saw Adames, the cutoff man, over down the line. You got to get the ball in his hands immediately to make a play.
Plus, he's got one of the best arms on the field, Willie Adames.
Rays have played great defense, but their defense lets them down here. Still 1 out. Here is Brantley. Boy, what a huge inning for the Astros. Kevin Cash goes to his bullpen, brings in one of his A-plus relievers. And now 3 runs are in. The Astros still at it with 1 out. Diaz with the base hit through the hole. That set the inning up. And Castillo misses badly.
Well, these relievers for the Rays have been almost picture perfect through this postseason. And every once in a while they're going to have back up a little. And it's Castillo's turn tonight.
Saw Nick Anderson yesterday, gave up the walk-off to Correa, pitching in his second inning. The innings are starting to stack up, and the games without days off, forcing these relievers out there more often than they're used to. Bradley with a single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Strikeout victim against Snell in the first. And that gets by Zunino. Another backup slider. And Castillo is having a nightmare outing for the Rays right now. Runner at third with 1 out. Huge here. You can get a run in with an out. Not close.
The first pitch he threw when he came in the game was a backup slider. Same one there. You could say that Zunino tried to backhand that, but just such a difficult pitch for catchers to catch.
Kevin Cash has been pushing all the right buttons, but this button has backfired here in game 6. Infield in once again for Houston.
We talked about it before. Once Houston won 2 games, the pressure's on the Rays.
After the Rays won the first 3. And that's going to be a walk. Brantley is on first and third here with 1 out. Let's check in with Lauren Shahadi. What do you have, Lauren?
Well, Correa with high praise for Springer. Told George yesterday, when you go, we go. We don't win this series without you. He's the guy we look up to in the lineup. Correa said when he gets things going, we're scary, and we're seeing it play out in real time, Brian.
Confidence is back. This is closer to what we saw in the division series, Jeff, against the Oakland Athletics. The Astros, they got their hits, but they couldn't get the key hit with runners on and runners in scoring position the first 3 games. That has changed in the last 3 days.
When we talked the first 3 games, Kevin Cash couldn't make a wrong move. Every guy he bought into the game, whether it was Loop, whoever, got the job done. Now all of a sudden, starting in game 4 with Dusty leaving Greinke in, game 5 the way Dusty handled the bullpen yesterday, and now the sack bunt, he's all of a sudden kind of flipped it, and everything he's doing is working.
Saw Shane McClanahan as Correa with a big swing. Here's one thing that we know and what we've seen from Kevin Cash: he will not chase wins. So it's going to be up to his offense to slug their way back, because he will roll out his relievers, his non-A relievers.
He chased this win, though.
Yeah, he did with Castillo. It was going to be his one shot to see if he could maintain a 1-0 lead, and it didn't work. Bouncing ball through for a base hit. Correa will drive in another one, and the Astros are up 4-1. Oh, they're starting to find the holes, aren't they? Carlos Correa, an RBI. Astros scoring 4 runs here in the 5th inning, still only 1 man out. And now how long does Cash let it ride with Castillo?
Well, a ground ball, and we said Wendell and Adames have been so good. We've seen 2 finally sneak through the hole.
You really have to watch the pitch count here of Castillo, because you know you have to envision that there's going to be a game 7. Game 7, you're going to need him.
Carlos Correa with that RBI has 48 now. He ties Reggie Jackson for 7th all-time in the postseason. 2 on, 1 out. Here is Bregman.
Yeah, 13 pitches now. I agree with you, Ron. I think with the lefty Tucker up next, this will probably be Castillo's last batter. Even if it's 15, 16, 17, he's got a rubber arm. He'll be good to go if there is a game 7.
This is the 8th batter of the inning. And it started with Snell on the mound with a walk and a single. Bregman on the ground, got a chance to turn it here. Adames will step on the bag. He throws to first, and a big play for the Rays. They get a double play to end the inning, but the Astros deliver 4. Snell couldn't get it out in the 5th, and then the Astros go the humble approach. And they put 4 on the board, and they now lead this game 6. Championship Series on TBS, presented by Geico. Kevin Cash has had it lined up beautifully this entire postseason. He went to Castillo, and Castillo struggles. The Astros score 4. Blake Snell putting the first 2 on. That forced Cash to the bullpen earlier than he had hoped. Now we'll see if the Rays have enough firepower to come back. Framber Valdez, last time he was on the mound, he was trailing 1-0. Now he's pitching to a 3-run lead. Bottom of the 5th inning with the bottom of the order coming up.
I know he struck out 7 in his first 3 innings tonight. I liked his 4th inning better with the 3 ground balls.
And weak contact as well with all 3. 7 Ks coming in the first 3 innings. Adames drove in a run in the 2nd. He whistled a fastball in the gap in left center, went all the way to the wall, and it scored Lau from first base. Only Rays run of the game. They have just 2 hits.
This might be the most important 0 that Valdez will try to put up in his young career.
Yeah, pressure certainly back on Dusty Baker if he starts to struggle. The managerial decisions in the middle of the game with your pitching, with no days off in a 7-game series, is paramount. And Adames draws a walk. Good start for the Rays. Remember, Valdez has been sitting over there for over 20 minutes of real time while the Astros put together their 4-run frame.
You know, there's certain parts of the game that dictate what pitches you can throw, and you can't throw a 3-1 curveball after your team just scored 4 runs and you have a 3-run lead.
And with the bottom of the lineup, if you think about where the last rally started for the Astros, the 7-hole hitter Gurriel, now 7-hole hitter Adames, walk, same thing.
Here's Joey Wendell, and he takes a ball, and Maldonado is on his way out.
Watching Valdez now for the 3 or 4 times we've watched him, or I've watched him, he always seems to get a little better push from his back leg into his curveball and 2-seamer. Today he's really standing up straight, no pushing off at all, just really throwing with his arm, and I think that's why his fastball and curveball are a little short today.
And do you think a little bit of that is him getting hot yesterday
Maybe
for the game?
It certainly could be.
He was in the bullpen in the 9th inning. He was preparing for a 10th inning until Correa hit the walk-off. And he was fully ready. You know, we talked to Dusty Baker today. He said he got up once and he got fully hot. Hoped it wouldn't have any effect on him today, but as we work in the 5th inning, maybe. There's a fastball strike in there. He's the cruising speed fastball.
He's the kind of pitcher, though, 1 pitch he can get 2 outs. He's done it all season long.
Extreme ground ball pitcher. And the Astros with a superb infield defense. They're set up to turn 2. And Wendell chased one. 2-2 the count.
And in Kevin Cash's defense and Dusty Baker, guys, this is the first time these managers in this kind of era have to go 6 straight games without an off day. So it's hard to judge who's fresh, who's not, who's good at getting up 2 days in a row. It's new territory.
And that's why as we sit here in the 5th, this is a key at bat right now with Valdez against Wendell. Man, what a pick back there by Maldonado. Keeps the double play intact. Keeps Adames at first base. Special.
Just cutting off those pitches a little short, and what a play by Maldonado all series long.
7 Ks in the first 3 innings, 5 ground ball outs, 3 of those coming in succession last inning. Full count to Wendell. On the ground, got a chance to turn it. Correa's there. He goes to the bag, throw to first, not in time. Wendell beating it down the line. Correa's got a golden arm, so if he can't turn it, nobody can. First out of the inning as Valdez does get his ground ball.
We continue to see this on the shift because of the placement of the infielders. The ball up the middle the shortstop or the second baseman always has to turn it themselves. There's no exchange. So that's why this play is late.
Nice pick by Gurriel. It's going to keep Wendell at first. So a runner at first. One man out. Here is Zunino.
And that's where the shift is great and can be bad. But if you don't play the shift on that ball right there, that's a base hit up the middle. So it's kind of, you know, it's pick your poison. You want the out, you want first and third.
I take the out.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Three infielders on the left side for Zunino with the shift on. And a wave and a miss. Same pitch, same result. 0-2 the count. It's a huge inning right here. Rays trying to get into the Astros bullpen. Valdez trying to get the Astros back to the dugout with a lead. 0-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 3 consecutive curves, 3 straight swings, and down goes Zunino for out number 2.
8 strikeouts by Valdez, all on the curveball. So funny, could not throw one even close the first couple of hitters, and now locked in again.
And now if you're Brasso, these guys, you're coming up for a third time. You know, maybe 1 or 2 pitches here. Take a chance and sit on a curve. You see the frustration, but why not?
Brasso with a runner at first, 2 outs. Starts him with a curve and a wave and a miss. He's just putting it in the same spot like a pitching machine out there the last 4 pitches.
So as we sit here in the booth and we say to ourselves, why do they continue to swing at the ball out of the strike zone? Well, it's got to be that kind of curveball that has the appearance of being a strike for such a long time and then ends up out of the strike zone.
And the change of pace to it as well. It's about 15 miles an hour off the fastball. That was one to hit right there, and Brasso was late. 0-2 the count.
He's wanting that one back. That was the good one. He threw 4 perfect back foot ones. This one he spun a little bit.
And it was just away enough.
Yep.
Big spot for him right here. There's Zunino's bat. That's no longer with us. Courtesy of a curveball from Valdez.
Those catchers are big and strong. They can do that. I was always scared to do that because I thought I'll do it and it won't break.
Break your hand.
Yeah.
Break your quad.
No balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs in the inning. Very fast runner at first base in Joey Wendell. Astros score 4 runs in the 5th. See what he has in mind. He deals and it's in the dirt. Blocked well by Maldonado.
Valdez has made 13 starts, including the postseason this year. 10 of those 13, he's gone at least 6 innings.
Including a 6-inning start in game 1 here of this championship series. Gave up 2 runs. He struck out 8. He's sitting on 8 Ks currently. And a swing and a foul. Brasso hangs in there.
Ron, and to your point with that, I think that's why it's so important for the Astros and for Dusty Baker to get at least 6 innings out of Valdez tonight. Their pen was used up a lot yesterday.
We're not sure how effective Presley can be in today's game.
He's never pitched 3 days in a row, which would be day 3 if he does use him today. So there's a lot of uncertainty. That's why Dusty Baker is on the top step. He's focused. 1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. He put a fastball right by him. That is big league pitching right there from the 26-year-old lefty. Framber Valdez gave up a leadoff walk, comes back to get the next 3. The Rays are frustrated. They're down 4-1. They had a 3-0 lead in this series. 5 in the books. Astros coming up. San Diego, California, out on the San Diego Bay. What a great setting here. And this ALCS arriving in the middle innings. 4-1 Houston. They score 4 runs in the 5th. They were down 1-0. And with the Rays trailing, the hard-throwing left-hander Shane McClanahan is on to pitch. He made his major league debut in the postseason against the New York Yankees. And he's going to get a chance here in the ALCS. He looked good in his couple of appearances against New York.
Hard throwing left-hander. He got 5 outs in that division series. He's yet to pitch here in the championship series.
Those are the numbers of his minor league career. There was no minor league season this year, so he was pitching in the alternate training site, the ATS. Teams could expand their rosters up to 60 to have essentially a taxi squad of players. And he's been trying to keep himself ready for a moment in the big leagues in the regular season. That didn't come. But yet here he is in the postseason.
Reminded me a little of a young Rick Ankiel when I first saw him make his debut.
And that ball's hit hard into left center field. Tucker sends that one deep and gone. Kyle Tucker with a leadoff home run here in the 6th inning. And it's 5-1 Houston. Tucker with his first home run this postseason. And he stretches that Astros lead to 4.
First extra base hit for him this postseason. He got a fastball and stayed through it. Very nice.
First career postseason home run. And all smiles for the Astros. They have found their offensive game here in the last 2 innings.
He had left Dusty hanging. He came back.
Can't leave the skipper hanging. Here is Gurriel. He got it all started with a walk last inning.
Got that kind of swing, Frenchie, where the bat is in the zone for a long time.
Slow roller out to first. Diaz will take it to the bag for out number 1.
He stays through it so nice. See the weight evenly distributed. He's not out in front of it. And this 3rd, 4th hit we've seen this series, hard to the left side for him.
Got his first home run in a postseason game. Kyle Tucker, now in his 3rd year with the Astros. And Ledmus Diaz, he had a key hit last inning. Punched one through the hole between short and 3rd. That forced the pitching change as Kevin Cash pulled Blake Snell. 2 quick strikes. McClanahan gets ahead of Diaz. Did he go? He did not. Checks his swing. 1-2.
For McClanahan, he's got to keep him right here to give this Rays offense a chance to get back. Haven't scored a lot of runs, but they did have a 5-run 6th inning in game 3.
Well, he's the key to the whole decision-making process right now for Kevin Cash. If he can hold serve, he's already given up a run. He's certainly a guy that could pitch multiple innings. If the Astros keep scoring, then those decisions become easy for Cash as well. Just such a different setup this year with no days off. Typically in a 7-game series there'd be 2 days off. It's a reset for the bullpen. You don't have to go as deep into your roster. It's a reset mentally for the position players. More than ever, you start managing for tomorrow. That's a smash into left field. Ledmus Diaz with a 2-strike hit. His 2nd hit of the game. He's 2 out of 3.
These Houston hitters are starting to get healthy, aren't they?
And starting to find some holes.
He gets a fastball here and lets McClanahan provide all the power.
So one away, runner at first. Here is Martin Maldonado. The Astros, the first team since the 04 Boston Red Sox to force even a Game 6 down 3-0 in a series. And Lauren, they're drawing a little inspiration from the Cowboy up Red Sox.
They told me Alex Bregman made the team watch the 2004 Red Sox, the only baseball team to come back from down 0-3 in a postseason series. Carlos Correa said the entire team was captivated afterward and said 2004 they won the World Series, 2020 book it.
That's good appointment viewing. If you're looking for a team bonding event in a bubble.
Yeah, what else is there to do?
Let's watch a movie.
Yeah.
What movie we watching? We're going to watch this movie called the 2004 postseason. Only 4 teams have forced a Game 6 after going down 3-0 in a best-of-7 series. Astros, of course, the Red Sox in 04. 99, the Mets against the Braves in the NLCS. And 98, the Braves against San Diego in the NLCS. Only Boston went on to win the World Series, though. Maldonado fouls it away. 2-2 the count.
The other 2 lost in Game 6, right?
Those are the teams we're talking about. They lost in that series, the Braves and the Mets. Red Sox went on to the World Series. That magical ride. And to do it against the rival Yankees, too. That's why that is an iconic postseason. And it's why they have documentary style videos about that team. Swing and a miss. McClanahan strikes him out. 99 with a fastball.
Well, this young left-hander has a big arm. 4-seamer up in the strike zone and threw it right by Maldonado.
What a spot for him to be pitching in, though.
Well, and look, he's got 18 1/3 above single-A prior to this postseason, and this kid's got a bright future. Love his arm.
He is a big prospect. They'll have him in the rotation next year, most likely. Springer able to check his swing. Springer had the key hit in the 5th. Astros went old school again. They dropped down a sacrifice bunt. Rays put a shift on for Springer, and he just played a little pepper with it and punched it through the right side for a 2 RBI single.
Tampa bullpen to that point had inherited 20 runners in the post. None of them scored until that inning.
Been as automatic as there is, and you can understand why Kevin Cash went to Castillo in that spot. First time it hasn't worked. In the air, right center, and going to give way to Renfroe, and the inning is over. But Kyle Tucker homers in the 6th. It's 5-1 Houston. Randy Arozarena is having a monster postseason. He's ready to lead off as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Defensive changes for Dusty Baker as he tightens up his outfield unit. Josh Reddick into play right field. That moves Kyle Tucker to left. And the day is over for Aledmys Diaz, and what a successful day it was. 2 hits, 3 at-bats. He scored a run. Framber Valdez back on the mound. He starts his 6th inning. Gave up a leadoff walk in the 5th and then got through it. He's got 9 Ks facing Randy Arozarena. Arozarena walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1. Goal number 1 for the Tampa Bay Rays is to get Valdez out of this game. They must push the envelope with the Astros pitching. And just the opposite if you're Dusty Baker and the Astros. Let this 26-year-old emerging star ride it out. I'm sure they'll let him go as long as he can. I mean, he's going to have plenty of pitches to work with. Cruising along right now with 82 pitches. You see inside the numbers presented by DraftKings. trips through the batting order. As he continues, he gets better and better. 219 batting average, third time through. That's excellent. And a Rosarena ground ball. Altuve's got it to his feet, thrown to first, right on target. Heck of a play by a former Gold Glove Award winner. And the throwing's been good today for Altuve.
And the bullets from Tampa Bay are now finding the gloves of the Houston Astros. And a smile, a rare smile from Altuve on a defensive play. Good to see.
Rosarena hit this ball sharply to the right side. As you said, made a nice play. But this Tampa team, you got 11 outs. As you said, BA, they got to find a way to get to Valdez and get him out of this game. The pen for Houston's tired. That's their chance to get back in it.
Dusty has trusted Valdez more than any starter on his team this year. 7 times he went 7 or more innings. 7 times. That's rare in today's game.
Well, he's a low pitch count guy, efficient in individual innings with his ground ball proficiency, although he's had the strikeout numbers today with 9 Ks. Six times in the regular season, Valdez went 7 innings, best in the majors. And he's coming off a start in game 1 where he went 6 innings. And I think if the score had been different in that game, he might have stayed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
All he does is throw Renfroe curveballs for 5 straight ABs going back to game 1, and now 3 straight fastballs.
He's got a little bit of a lead.
And a 2-1 count. He has found the hole in Renfroe's swing. Renfroe doesn't bite that time. 3 balls and a strike. Yandy Diaz on deck. 5 matchups with Framber Valdez for Renfroe, 5 strikeouts. Got a hitter's count though. 3 balls and a strike. 3-2. Rays are in the middle of their order. Renfroe hitting 3rd today. Yandy Diaz to follow. Contact, slow roller, and Bregman can't make the barehanded play. Renfroe will reach. Renfroe will reach. Sound like Elmer Fudd right there for a moment. Well, say that fast.
He's made some great plays with the bare hand, but with Renfroe running, I don't think he had to do it here. He could have fielded with the glove, 2 hands, and made the throw and exchange.
That'll be an infield hit for Renfroe. Bregman made a beautiful play with a bare hand yesterday, a game changer. And now a base runner. Here comes Yandy Diaz. The Rays are so reliant upon the home run ball to score their runs this postseason. Coming into play today, 71% of their runs scored coming on the long ball. Brent Strom, Astros pitching coach, on the phone to the bullpen.
And now 90 pitches, you got to start thinking, Dusty, moving some guys around, figuring what you want to do. And if the Rays can get another guy or 2 on, you got a chance.
They've had no problem hitting the ball at the ballpark. It's getting people on. Margot's 3-run home run in this series, really the only big blow.
Yeah, that came after the Altuve error. Would have ended the inning. Up and away. 2 balls and a strike. Andre Scrub, who was excellent yesterday, starting to get loose. He pitched an inning and a 1/3 yesterday. So that's part of the story here for Dusty Baker. He used a lot of pitchers in yesterday's game. It's not like the Astros have a fresh bullpen down there. We're talking about the usage And the fatigue of the Rays bullpen. Well, the Astros are in a similar position, but this is the key if you're Tampa Bay to get this guy out. He's pitched to Jim. 3-1. And it's in there for a strike. Diaz looked like he was taking all the way.
It's the first time I've seen Valdez tentative in the strike zone. Usually he's very aggressive, pouring strikes in there. It's a big situation. You can understand it.
Maldonado wants the hook. 3-2 the count. And he lays off, and look at Diaz. They asked for appeal, no, and Diaz is barking at Valdez. And that was just full-on competitive nature of these two. And Diaz took that breaking ball and started chirping at it like Juan Soto.
It was almost like he was yelling at him for not challenging him on the 3-2 pitch.
I agree, because he took it. You see, he took like a step forward, looked at him.
Well, the mediator there was Carlos Correa.
Yeah, of all people.
Fully engaged, man. We talked about it at the beginning, and look at Carlos Correa. Now he is in a serious pep talk with Framber Valdez, and that has everything to do with don't let these guys talk to you that way. You show them.
Yeah, that away. Leader.
That is a leader.
Well, there comes a rare visit from Brent Strom, the pitching coach. He'll try to calm down Valdez.
You ever seen that? I haven't seen that too much.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Just Soto. You know, it's competitive at bat. You take a pitch and you start barking. He's in it, man. Look at it. Look. Oh. Maldonado's chirping.
I know enough Spanish to understand what he just said. So
Diaz from Cuba, Maldonado from Puerto Rico, and Framber Valdez from the Dominican Republic. And they are all in it. Maldonado saying, look, it's okay, amigo. Go to first.
I don't think it's okay. I would tell him just to go to first. With that being said, you would have liked to seen Valdez challenge him there and try to get a ground ball on that sinking fastball.
And probably the best disciplined guy on that team is Yandy Diaz. That's his 11th, 12th walk.
This was back in the second inning. He got him on the breaking ball. Stared him down, threw him that curve. All right, so now a little spice mixed into this one. Maldonado shouting out at Valdez again after that miss.
And this is Tampa Bay's chance.
This is
right
it.
Here.
You're right. And the energy is up. And here is Brandon Lau. Lau's been their big bat all year. And he takes a strike.
Yeah, you got your two guys you want up coming up. A guy in Lau who, as you said, has struggled this postseason, but during the season, their best overall player. And then Margot, who's 3 home runs this postseason. So they got 2 of their horses up.
2 on, 1 out. Lau pulls it foul. Well, in game 5, Lau, a struggling hitter, facing a lefty. And he took Taylor deep. That tied the game at 1 in yesterday's game 5. That was in the 3rd inning. 20th pitch of the inning. This has been a pretty calm series so far. 2 competitive teams. They respect each other. Astros knocked the Rays out of the postseason last year. The Astros, they typically are getting the most out of their opponent throughout the season and into the postseason. A lot of jawing back and forth, a lot of histrionics. Haven't seen much of that until right now.
Rays are on edge. They know what's happening here.
Yeah, Diaz trying to get his team fired up a little bit, maybe. They've had a lot of momentum in the last 2 games. He had shifted back.
Well, this probably takes the 7th inning out of play for Valdez. and he might not even finish the 6th.
So Maldonado tap on his shoulder. Maybe spotting something mechanically from Valdez. 2 on, 1 away. 2-2 pitch, popped foul and out of play. I love that whole exchange. I mean, it's not something we're seeing. I love that Diaz is fully engaged in the at-bat. He's happy with himself that he took that pitch, and he's barking out there, said no, and then giving it back. And then the way Correa entered the mix.
Well, he's happy that he took the pitch, but he was yelling to the pitcher because he wasn't brave enough to throw him a fastball. That's what that came from.
On the ground, got a chance to turn it. Altuve, Correa fires to first in time. And look at the Astros on the way to the dugout. They are fired up. A pump of the fist by Correa. Valdez gets out of it. What a huge double play. Astros still lead it 5-1 after 6. A lot of cameras, and they're on a lot of different players. This might be the reaction of that moment as the Astros get the double play ball out of Brandon Lau. We'll show it to you. Yandy Diaz had to start his slide. Correa coming across on the double play ball, and remember how animated he was as Diaz kind of lit the fuse in that 6th inning. What a big double play ball, though. Altuve starts it. 7th inning, 5-1 Astros. All right, check it out here.
He's coming in hard. Proper slide.
Correa jumped over him. Two balls and a strike. That was the shot for Tampa Bay. At 2 on with 1 out. Now you wonder if Framber Valdez will be coming back out. We'll see. There's another hole found as Altuve sends one to left. So a base hit. Jose Altuve with 2 out of 3. Got a couple of hits. The stare down.
I'm not messing with that.
The intensity of this postseason. I think it hits these players when they come out of the clubhouse onto the field for the first time, when there's no fans,
right.
You know, playing in the middle of a pandemic, all that's going on, being in a bubble, being in the same hotel. But once the game starts, it's been a thrill to watch. These guys are fully engaged on every level.
But you have to generate a lot of these feelings by yourself or through your team. You know, things that you would usually be able to, that would come naturally from a crowd. And I don't think any player will ever overlook how important fans are at a baseball game or any sporting event after this year.
That's going to get by Zunino, and on to second base goes Altuve.
And I think there's so much that we miss, guys, that with the fans, the players, even from dugout to dugout, Ron, they can hear everything down there.
Yeah.
You know, I know you're pumping some crowd noise, guys, but at the same time, you're hearing stuff across from each other that you never hear during a regular season.
I mean, I think really the crowd noise idea came about for that exact reason, trying to create some kind of white noise in the ballpark so you're not hearing everything, but that doesn't mean you're not. We saw a number of incidents throughout the regular season where you're hearing everything that's being said. I mean, you both have been in dugouts. You know what's said in those dugouts, but usually that's not heard.
Yeah, you're coming back telling your team loud about how you dominated a guy. Well, they can hear it right across that.
It's just been fascinating the whole season, and to watch these athletes compete and get into it the way they have. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brantley takes 99 off the plate.
Wonder if they can hear a play-by-play guy when he's screaming a home run call.
I'm sure they can. I'm sure they can. Don't think I haven't thought about that either, by the way. Javier getting loose. He was out of the mix yesterday. Hard hit ground ball, and that's through for a base hit. That's going to be another run. Altuve will score, and the Astros keep pounding away. 6-1 now, Houston. It's going to be a single and an RBI for Michael Bradley, his second hit.
And because of the dearth of relief arms for the Houston Astros, they've got to add on, just like they're doing now. Spinning breaking ball by McClanahan up in the strike zone. Good try by Brosseau, just off the end of the leather.
And here is Correa now. Bert Blyleven. The Hall of Famer. Whatever Correa said to Valdez showed me he is the leader of this team. You bet he is. Yeah, good call, Bert.
He pointed right in his face and let him have it.
And it worked. Ground ball, foul ball.
And for Kevin Cash now, Ron, the game's 6-1 and still got 9 outs, plenty of Rosarena, firepower, different guys, but at what point is McClanahan kind of what we're seeing now unless they get back in the game?
We saw the same thing against the Yankees in game 1 where he let Curtis throw 42 pitches.
Yankees scored 5 runs in the ninth. Correa whistles one into the gap right center. Over to cut it off Margot. Correa on his way to second, and he's in with a stand-up double. It'll be second and third for Houston. Carlos Correa with his 3rd hit of the game.
Just fastball up and away, and good swing by Correa going that way.
Yeah, a lot like the pitch he hit for a home run yesterday. That one with the lefty tailing away. Lined in this offense is hitting on all cylinders right now.
Astros are having some fun now. They have 11 hits in this game. Correa's got 3 of them. Here is Bregman, who's bounced into 2 double plays.
Bregman needs some.
He needs to join the party, and this is a perfect chance. A guy throwing a lot of fastballs, infield, and even a deep sac fly. Something good to happen for him.
What a spot for McClanahan to be in, though.
Yeah.
You think about the other side of this. This is a rookie pitcher. He hardly had any experience whatsoever. Only 18+ innings above single A prior to this postseason. And that was last year. Made his major league debut in the playoffs, and here he is trying to give the Rays some innings. We've seen games go this way in the postseason all around, even in the division series, knowing there are no days off. Kind of take your medicine to save your A bullpen. Every manager lines up their pen. You see Alvarado getting loose. They line up their pen. They don't all name it this way, but it's essentially the A pen, the B pen, and the C pen. Guys you're going to use when you have a lead or in a tie game as your A pen. Those are the guys you'll see in those close ones. As Bregman strikes out, his struggles continue. It's a first out. But just as we saw with the Braves and the Dodgers the other day, and listening to Brian Snitker after that game, a blowout loss, but 11 runs in the first inning, said, hey, it's one loss, actually kind of sets us up. And then the Braves bounce right back and won.
Well, and you wonder, Kevin Cash thinking the same way right now. If I was to use my whole pen today and lose a heartbreaker, look, at the end of the day, if the Astros do hang on to this game, the Rays are still one win away from the World Series too, with what we say is probably the best pen in all of baseball. So
infield in, Tucker at the plate.
Might make his decision a little bit easier.
You have to play those mind games with yourself and say, you know, before COVID and pandemic and the truncated 60-game season, would you take playing a Game 7 to go to the World Series?
Sure.
You'd buy it every time. Right.
And you play for tomorrow if you're the Rays right now until you don't have to, and that could happen in this game. If your offense comes up and scores some runs, you could certainly change your plan. But until your offense changes your ideas, you have to play for tomorrow if you have it tomorrow.
And they had a chance last inning to make a dent.
Yep.
Infield in for Tucker.
The rare hitters who does not wear batting gloves.
Got a couple of those guys. Joey Wendell for the Rays, the same. Tucker in the left field. That ball's hit well. And that'll be plenty deep to score the run. Lau runs it down. Correa also tagging. And the run is in. It's a sacrifice fly, an RBI for Kyle Tucker. He's driven in a pair in this game 6, and it is 7-1 Houston.
And another big run too, because down in the Astros bullpen, Scrub's warming up now, and if you get a little bit of this lead, Dusty could save Javier. We saw him go opposite field for a home run last time. This time, nice swing, gets the easy RBI. This kid impresses me.
Tucker had 13 hits coming into this game, all of them singles, and then he finally got loose for an opposite field home run off McClanahan in the 6th inning. His first career postseason homer. Now he's got a multi-RBI game. Two outs, Gurriel. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. I'm sure the Rays have a pretty strict pitch count on McClanahan. There'll be a number in mind. They won't let him go too much over that. Again, he's been pitching in the alternate training site. They've had essentially simulated games. He's simulating a start, basically just inter squads because no minor league season. I'm sure that was a lonely existence for those guys, but they know they have to be ready. But it's a more of a controlled environment, so he's stretched out to the point where he can go multiple innings. They're not going to push it with a rookie, especially with a kid with such a future.
That's what I was going to say. Not with that arm either.
3-2, and it's ball 4. Hey, steal a base, steal a taco is back. If someone steals a base this World Series, Taco Bell is letting all of America steal a free Doritos Locos Tacos. Steal a base, steal a taco, only at Taco Bell.
3 walks for Gurriel in this game. Good sign, Frenchie?
Yeah, it definitely tells you he's seeing the ball a lot better, because this is a guy that's very aggressive, wanting to hit. So for him, it's got to be a good sign.
McClanahan is out. And Kevin Cash will go back to his bullpen. 7-1 Houston. 2 more runs in here in the 7th inning. Here comes Alvarado. ALCS. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay. They got a run in the 2nd inning, but then the Astros come roaring back. 4-run 5th. Added 1 in the 6th. They've got 2 in here in the 7th. And the good times are rolling for the Houston Astros as they try to win their 3rd straight. Down 3-0 in this series. They've got a chance to push this to a game 7. Hard throwing left-hander Jose Alvarado, normally a high leverage pitcher, late game pitcher in a close game, but he's been hurt, Ron.
Yes.
And this is his 2nd appearance of this postseason.
But they've been working with him to get him healthy. He deemed himself ready to go, and a big arm from the left side. Can be erratic occasionally with his control, but when he's in the strike zone, awfully tough.
He'll face Josh Reddick. First at bat for Reddick. He came in for defensive purposes last inning. Taking over for Ledmus Diaz. Diaz went 2 for 3 today. Had a terrific night. That's going to get away from Zunino. And Gurriel will go to second base. That'll be a pass ball. And second and third with 2 outs.
Rare tough game for Zunino today.
He's had some tough pitchers to deal with. Diego Castillo threw a number of backup sliders that went off the heel of the glove for Zunino. Hot shot by Reddick. Reddick's got 4 hits in this series. 2 of those were pinch hit singles. It's 4 for 11.
Reddick was kind of the guy they went to, signed in 17. Astros were a huge strikeout team. 14, 15, 16, a lot of these young guys, they wanted him to be one of those guys that was a contact guy to get less strikeouts. And you see, I mean, they've changed the whole way they hit. Now least amount of strikeouts in baseball this year.
I had a little bit of that culture change. I remember A.J. Hinch saying we need some adults in the room. So it was guys like Reddick and McCann and Beltran. Reddick strikes out, inning is over, but the Astros score 2 more. Oh, the Astros, they were down 3-0. They've been rolling ever since. And the Astros are all smiles right now. Stretch time, 7-1 Houston. It's provided by Goodyear. Whether it's the 7th inning stretch or a long stretch of road, movement takes us further. Goodyear, more driven. Petco Park, downtown San Diego. One of the gyms in Major League Baseball. So it's going to be Andre Scrub here. They sat Christian Javier down. That's a win for the Astros in their bullpen for now, as they add on with 2 runs in the 7th, make it 7-1. And Scrub, who pitched an inning and a third yesterday, Ron, is back out there in back-to-back days.
Yeah, 24 pitches. The only issue, though, is that he's been so valuable in this series. But you have McCullers tomorrow. You should have a fresh Javier. Presley shouldn't pitch tonight.
Margot sends one deep to left. That one's going to fly. And a home run for Manuel Margot. His 4th of the postseason. Second run of the game for the Rays. Margot, a no-doubter into left field.
This is the only problem you have when you're bringing in relievers after they've gotten a lot of outs. These are power guys, and if they're a little short, they won't be as effective.
And look, the Rays, you see this ball, it's a 4-seamer, right? Middle end. And Margot, the power surge this postseason. 4 home runs now after hitting 1 all season. That was a no-doubter. Look, for the Rays, you want to come back, Ron, but at the same time, if you can give them a finish here and get to Javier, get to some of these other guys, that's good for them.
They almost need some kind of finish to prove to themselves, take some good at-bats.
Their lack of hitting, other than a Rosarena, collectively I'm talking about, through the game, you know, moving the line, it has been hidden because of how great their pitching has been, how great their defense has been, and of course they're winning ball games. But when you're matching up against an offense like the Astros and putting the pressure on the Rays pitching staff, it is starting to be exposed right now as Adames pulls one foul.
For example, coming into tonight's game, Rosarena was 20 for 48, 417. The rest of the Tampa Bay Rays were 61 for 338. That's a 180 average.
Yeah, it's a huge discrepancy. They've had their moments. Certain individuals have stepped up in the big moments, but it's been a run prevention clinic is probably the best way to put it, with the excellent pitching and defense and positioning.
And that's been their strength all year. But with that being said, as deeper you get in the playoffs, you have to help that pitching out some too.
Adames takes a ball, 3-2 the count. Well, the Astros just keep getting these surprise efforts over and over again. Justin Verlander out for the year and next year with Tommy John surgery. They lost Garrett Cole. They lost a ton of innings in their rotation. And then the emergence, as Adames draws a walk, the emergence of a guy like Framber Valdez, who is looking more and more like an ace every time he takes them out. He was brilliant tonight again, Ron.
He was. We talked about his sinking fastball and curveball, but the curveball was on full display. Was able to throw it backdoor, back right foot for the hitters. And he was all over the place. He wasn't as aggressive as we've seen him in the past, but he really battled his way through.
I think one of the images of this game is going to be that scene at the mound after Yandy Diaz drew a walk and shouted out at Valdez, and then Carlos Correa came to the mound and had a pep talk of all pep talks. Valdez able to come back and get a double play ball to end the inning. Here's Joey Wendell now with a runner at first. By the way, Adames has been on all 3 times tonight.
Let's not forget, the Astros have to win this game, so they can't just throw pitchers out there and hope that they get the remaining outs. They've got to chase the lead that they have.
And that being said, Taylor beginning to get loose.
I mean, Scrub's short. You can see it right away. So if you see it, then you've got to make a move.
Sometimes you see a guy give up a home run on a fastball like that. You've seen him now. A lot of curveballs, a lot of sliders going away from it.
There's a strike inside corner.
The first 2 appearances that Scrub had in this series, he was throwing 96 and plus. So you take a couple of miles off. We're seeing that on our screen, but Scrub can feel that in his arm.
On the ground, Correa ranging over. Out number 1 on a 6-3 putout. Moving over to second is Adames. 1 away in the inning. Hey, Major League Baseball encourages fans to take an active role in their communities and make a plan to vote this election season. Visit MLB.com/vote to learn more. One out for Mike Zunino.
It's a dangerous matchup for Scrub right here. Zeno's been starting to swing a better bat.
Zunino has popped 3 home runs. Mike Zunino was in the same draft as Carlos Correa. He was the 3rd pick overall. Correa was the 1-1. That was the 2012 draft. Astros hit the jackpot with Carlos Correa. Byron Buxton went number 2 that year. And then Mike Zunino, a power hitting catcher, went number 3 in the 2012 draft. That's the order they went. 1 ball, 1 strike.
2 good cuts.
Gutsy effort here from Scrub. You know, obviously he's a little off, a little short, still pounding it in there.
Knowing his role here. You know he's heard it all. Pitcher with a last name Scrub. They play no scrubs usually when he enters into a game. He's on that list with Homer Bailey and Bob Walk.
It's not even Scrub, it's a Scrub.
That's right.
It's true. Good point.
It's true.
Yale education there. Good job.
It's.
Listen, when you have a last name Darling,
yes, you know,
you feel the pain.
You know. He's pitched beautifully for them. He came to the Astros from the Dodgers organization. They like him a lot. Dusty Baker just raves about Andre Scrub. He calls him Big Scrub. My guy, Big Scrub. And he gets Zunino. Second out. Zunino had a frustrating game 6. That great curveball by Scrub, straight over the top.
That's the best one he's thrown here in this inning. Needed that out.
Yeah, with the lefty in the lineup down in the pen, you thought maybe this is a chance to bring in G-Man Choi right here. And he could always move Rosso to the outfield and Lau back in, but sticking with the right-hander.
Brasso takes a curveball. Brasso got the start at second base for Game 6. He's played first, plays second, he's played third. Extremely versatile defender. He does well at all positions. And a home run that you couldn't script out any better. It was undrafted out of Oakland University. He's an Indiana native. The Rays and the Yankees had a number of confrontations throughout the year. The one that was the headliner when Aroldis Chapman threw at his head on September 1st. Went right over the head of Brasso, over 100 miles an hour. He hit 2 homers the next day, September 2nd. And the poetry of baseball puts Brasso at the plate in the 8th inning in a tie game with Chapman on the mound in Game 5 of the division series. And an epic battle ensued. Foul ball after foul ball, and on the 10th pitch he homers. It's an incredible moment in this postseason. That is off the glove of Maldonado. Over to third base goes Adames with 2 away. Be a pass ball on Maldonado. That'll burn him up. Did he go? They will ask. He did not. And a walk. And now suddenly Tampa Bay, you get a quick strike here from your hottest hitter, and you're in business. And that is going to force Dusty Baker to the mound, trying to squeeze a little extra out of Scrub after an inning and a third yesterday. And he's got to go to his left-hander now. It's a 5-run game. One swing of the bat. The Rays are right back in this one. We play with 2 outs in the 7th and a pitching change in Game 6. A big if necessary on them, but Saturday's baseball menu looks like this. If the Dodgers win tonight, Braves Dodgers Game 6 on FS1, and then the Astros hang on to win this one. We'll have a Game 7 for you, 8:37 p.m. Eastern. Coverage starts earlier than that. Randy Arozarena, what a series, what a postseason he has had. He has been the Rays' best hitter, been their most consistent hitter. Arozarena with 20 hits so far coming into this Game 6. And if the Rays are going to fight their way back and turn the story here in Game 6, this is the moment right here.
Yeah, and look, for lefties this year, Arozarena's hitting 400 with 4 home runs. Ron, this is his matchup.
This is a against the numbers move by Dusty Baker. 17 inherited runners for Taylor this year. He allowed 6 to score.
He pitched yesterday, 2/3 of an inning. And Taylor deals a strike. This feels like Dusty Baker's looking down there and saying, who is my best pitcher available? It doesn't really matter the matchup left-right at this point. He's got a thin bullpen as well. Arozarena, slow roller, big chopper over to first. Gurriel gloves it, and Taylor's right there. He gets to the bag, and that's a big out. Turns the valve off. Arozarena retired. Still 7-2 Houston. All of these games prior to this one coming down to the last at bat. Astros put 4 on the board in the 5th, and they've scored in the last 3 innings, and they lead 7-2. And you wonder who the Rays are going to go with if this series goes to a game 7. So Glass now, he'd be an option. Charlie Morton would be an option. And you know he's going. The Astros have already named Lance McCullers Jr. as their game 7 starter. If they can get to the finish line in this one, they lead by 5. We head to the 8th. Jose Alvarado will face Martin Maldonado. Springer to follow, and then Jose Altuve. Astros with 7 runs on 11 hits.
McCullers took a loss in his start, but he threw a gem.
7 innings. Yep, threw great.
The 1 3-run home run after the error to Margot.
He matched up with Morton. Struck out 11. Didn't walk a batter. And Alvarado throws one to the screen. Well, this is an arm that the Rays are eager to get back in the mix. Just his 2nd outing. Hard throwing Alvarado.
A lot of these relievers not used to getting it out and sitting and then coming back out, especially someone who's on the shelf all summer long.
So Christian Javier preparing in the bullpen. He's already been up once. Rays have had a couple of chances.
And that's what I was going to say, Ron. I was asking you, you're going to save him, but I think after the last couple innings, you said it, Dusty. I don't know if he's going to take a chance anymore.
I'm getting a little paranoid, so I can just imagine what Dusty's feeling.
Well, you can almost work it backwards too, and obviously we're doing a lot of forward thinking for these managers. This game's certainly not over, but trying to give you an idea of what these managers are going through. We talk to them every day and we ask them about their run through their pen, what you do in certain scenarios. So we're trying to share what we've heard and what the plan may be. The one guy, as Maldonado draws a walk, the one guy Dusty Baker does not want to use today is Presley. If he does not have to, he will. But that means if you're working backwards and the Rays end up chipping away at this deficit, you end up in a safe situation. He might have to use him, and he hasn't pitched on 3 days rest all year, and it would be his 3rd day.
You don't want to squeeze McCullers so dry that he's got to throw a 7 or 8 inning gem for you guys, for your team to even have a chance.
And if you do use Presley Knight and it's 3 in a row, you got to believe he's down tomorrow. I know it's tough to say in a game 7, but
here's Springer. He had the big moment in that 5th inning. First 2 reached. There was a sacrifice bunt, the bottom of the order producing for the Astros. It was 2nd and 3rd with Springer at the plate. They put a big shift on for him. And Springer, who has been so clutch. And just the situational hitting, knowing when to take the big swing, hit the home run. He didn't do it in that 5th inning. He just shortened up and just poked the ball through wide open spaces at second base and drove in a pair.
Well, and in a series and really a whole postseason where the home run rules, this was a little bit of small ball, a bunt by Maldonado to get him over 2nd and 3rd, and the guy seeing the shift, knowing he's facing one of the best pitchers in baseball, does a nice job.
Kevin Cash played his best hand right there with Diego Castillo with a 1-0 lead, and Springer got him and flipped the scoreboard.
Well, these last 2 swings were definitely not like the punch through.
Exactly.
Now he's trying to leave the yard.
Yeah, there's the difference right there. About that, RBIs in this series, Springer's got 5. He's hit a couple of home runs. Altuve with 5. 3 home runs for Altuve. 3 first-inning home runs, as a matter of fact. 1-2 the count.
Alvarado will keep those right-handed hitters dancing in that box, won't he?
That cutter's just bearing in on you.
Didn't miss by much. 3-2 the count. Springer 1 for 4 tonight. He was having a rough game prior to that base hit. It struck out twice. And then jump started a 4-run inning. Altuve had an RBI in that inning as well with a double. And that's ball 4. So 2 men are on to start this 8th inning.
A lot of scratching of the head for Kevin Cash this evening.
Never ceases to amaze this game how it humbles. And it can turn on a dime. Think about Altuve and the way it was going for him to start this series. Astros down 3-0. Altuve with those 3 throwing errors, hanging his head. It's a distant memory right now. He's been raking at the plate. He's got 2 more hits tonight. He's throwing the ball well. He's made a couple of nice plays in this one. Snyder on his way back to the mound.
I've always wondered, Ron, when you keep missing in like this, you're saying he's throwing a good pitch. Does it ever help you as a pitcher to have the catcher set up a little bit farther out?
I would have the catcher, when he is throwing, to just set up down the middle. I know he's trying to set up inside to present him with a good target, but he's not that kind of pitcher.
Yeah.
He's a guy that just relies on stuff. So sit in the middle, let him throw his good fastball. It'll find the corners just with the movement.
Yep.
Well, 1 in 5 kids in the U.S. may not be able to afford to play Little League. For every text of Little League to 313131, T-Mobile will donate $1 to their Little League call-up grant program, so our kids can keep playing ball.
Did I hear when you go home you're going to take your daughter in the cage? You guys going to work on some fundamentals? Or?
Yeah, we got to get
taking you in the cage.
We got to get that. We got to get that. Well, get that swing leveled out.
Frenchie got up here in the booth with us, Ron. He's thinking how easy the game looks from up here.
No,
on this second level. Here's Altuve. Jose Altuve has reached base in 11 of his last 17 plate appearances.
I know how hard the game is. There's a couple guys out there older than me, and that's why I'm up here with you guys.
It's going to be a lonely place right now for Jose Alvarado. It wasn't the first game back that was the concern. It was the days after the first game back. You know, all that adrenaline. He's been waiting. He's been trying to get himself. He had a little shoulder injury, so finally put on the roster because he was getting close. He was working out with some of the taxi squad players. But pitching in a game is a different story, and this is his second time around now. And he's having a hard time finding the strike zone, and he's walked 3 in a row to load the bases. Well, the story of the early part of this series was line drive outs for the Astros. Been a different story here tonight. They're finding the holes.
Yeah, for 4 or 5 games, we saw Wendell and Adames get every ball hitting that hole. Today, finally finding some holes for the Astros and taking advantage of it. And it's why they've put a couple big innings up.
John McClain, Dusty Baker, Tom Cruise. All the right moves. Yeah, that's a good call. That's the way it's been. You know, that little bar is right down the road here in San Diego. That famous scene. Not that I've been there, but I've jogged by it. You know, when getting in the exercise.
The Kansas City barbecue place.
There you go. Ronnie's good with the names. He remembers everything.
It's not it's a curse.
He's been to a couple of those bars, I bet.
Michael Bradley, always been a great hitter with the bases loaded. Been a great hitter, period. And he's had a big day today.
Oh, oof. Not a comfortable at bat.
Alvarado is lost right now on the mound. There is activity. You saw Aaron Loop throwing in the bullpen.
Yeah, I was wondering if that nipped his jersey.
They did take a look at it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to challenge it here. That is a reviewable play. Get 30 seconds to declare whether you want to challenge or not. And we play on. Same replay they saw down in the Astros clubhouse. No challenge. 2-0 the count. Rays pitchers have walked 9. It was a 1-0 game going into the 5th inning. You guys said at the time that was a bold move early for Kevin Cash, who's been making all the right moves, but to pull Snell out, that'll certainly come up post game, I'm sure, barring a Rays comeback.
He really was trying to do what he did in Game 5 against the Yankees. He just didn't have as much of a cushion.
And Diego Castillo, that's been his worst outing. He was not locked down as he has been. I just wonder about a pitcher too that has tasted that 9th inning. Castillo's done this throughout the year, and the Rays, they mix and match their relievers, so they're used to coming in the big spots in a game, whether it be the 9th or 8th or even the 5th, as it was today. But Castillo did not pitch well and didn't have that look about him today.
He's pitched a lot in that 8th and 9th lately. Like you said, all year they do things different, but
(3-2) the count. And a called strike 3. Bradley's gone. First out of the inning after 3 walks. And Cash is going to make a move here. Alvarado with 25 pitches at this point. He's just trying to work his way back. And that'll be it for him. He'll exit with the bases loaded. Pitching change. 7-2 Astros as we play in the 8th. Here comes the lefty Loop. Connecting you to America's largest 5G network. 2 cameras in each base. Fixed lenses, microphones included, giving us a great look down on the field. Game 6 of this American League Championship Series. And the Astros in control here. They got the bases loaded with 1 out. Aaron Loop will be summoned out of the bullpen. Didn't pitch at all in the Yankees series and the division series, and then we saw him in the first 3 games of this championship series. And Loop will face Correa after his walk-off home run yesterday. He's got 3 hits here tonight and a big RBI in the 5th, part of that 4-run 5th inning for Houston when they flipped the score. And he's got a chance to turn a good night into a great night.
Well, you know what, Loop, he's going to come in, he's going to throw strikes, and right here try to get himself a ground ball.
that slider in and 2-seamer running away from.
Well, you know what Correa's got on his mind.
Single back up the middle.
There will be no shortening up in a spot like this. He's really been swinging the bat well. He's been their best hitter this postseason collectively. Had a monster division series against the Oakland A's.
Base hit is a big hit here. You know, it just adds on, adds to his postseason legacy.
It's still a 5-run game.
I know.
You know, and the way offense we've seen all year throughout the season. So I agree, Ron. If you're able to get a hit here and drive in a couple, to me, you pretty much put the nail in the coffin.
I'm not comfortable until you're on the bus, Frenchie. You know?
Not even in the locker room?
No, not even in the locker room. On the bus, showered.
Well, Loop strikes him out. Back-to-back Ks. Send it down to Lauren Shahadi. She's got the bullpen sitch all lined up right now. She's managing.
I asked Cash about it. He said there's so much information these days that it's equal parts head and heart. Said sometimes the balance of what your eyes are telling you can lead you down a tough path. So many numbers and matchups. The tough part is deciding what to throw out.
These are the tough moments right here. And there's plenty of information available, and then how that information is then delivered to the players as they prepare for their outings. But making managerial decisions on information is a lot different than these players digesting the information on the individual matchups.
Well, for many teams, you're trying to take the heart out of it, the feel out of it completely.
And I think talking about that, Ron, the only thing with Snell you wondered a little bit was, I feel like I saw him give up a hit all the time, but then yet he pitched himself out of trouble every time.
It's the kind of pitcher he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very disappointed when he came off the mound. He wanted to keep battling, of course.
Disappointing outing for him. Snell, 4 innings, gives up 2 runs. Left with a 1-0 lead. Houston has scored in 3 consecutive innings here in Game 6. Neither team had scored in consecutive innings in this series prior to this run for the Astros. Astros down 3-0 in this series. Trying to get to the end here, win 3 in a row to force a Game 7. And boy, does that have all the makings of something special. That kid pitched to Jim right there, Framber Valdez. I'd be standing next to the manager too. Tyler Glasnow potentially. I'll be interested to see if there is a Game 7, how this goes tomorrow for Kevin Cash. As you remember, in Game 5 against the Yankees, he used Glasnow as a starter, essentially an opener, and then got multiple inning outings from his bullpen, all of his best guys. And it was a 1-1 game until the 8th, until Brasso's home run made it 2-1. Castillo closed it out, and the Rays took down the Yankees.
I personally would entrust the veteran Charlie Morton to start the game. It's that big of a game. And use Glasnow as a weapon if you need to strike out Correa or a big right-handed hitter.
I agree, Ron, and he will be on full rest.
Yes.
That's the thing, too.
The former Astro who has not lost as a member of the Tampa Bay Rays in 2 years in the postseason, Charlie Morton. Then you start matching up against the Astros. I mean, they're a team that hits velocity. We hit the air talking about that. We hit the series talking about that. All these hard throwers for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm sure Kevin Cash and Dusty Baker are loving the fact we're going through every scenario. Easy to do from the booth. Luke gets through the inning. Astros strand them loaded. 7-2 Houston go to the bottom of the 8th. E-League Super Punch plugs you into this week's biggest moments in gaming. Tomorrow's episode features UFC legend Daniel Cormier and 2 of the NBA's biggest gamers, De'Aaron Fox and Josh Hart. You can watch all this and more tomorrow midnight on TBS. Petco Park, San Diego. 7-2. Astros have the lead. Austin Meadows is going to pinch hit here for the Tampa Bay Rays, and the new pitcher Christian Javier.
Remember, Greinke went 6 innings. Javier came on and got 6 outs and went out for the 9th, but didn't retire a batter. But 35 pitches he threw 2 days ago.
We just saw a 33 pitch inning from the Rays pitching staff in the 8th, walking the first 3 and then 3 strikeouts to end the inning. And now we play in the bottom of the 8th with Meadows hitting for Renfroe. In case you're wondering, the Astros won 4 straight twice this year, which is what they'd need to do to advance to the World Series. They had an 8-game winning streak in August, and then they won the first 4 games of this postseason, swept the Twins, and then won the first 2 games against the A's. On the flip side, Tampa Bay lost 4 in a row this season only once, and it ended up as a 5-game losing streak late July into August. They haven't even lost consecutive games since September 8th, 9th, and 10th until this postseason. Best record in the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays, 40 wins, 20 losses. Only the Dodgers had a better record. Meadows strikes out. First out of the 8th.
Well, we've seen Javier have a fastball and slider in his first outing in this series in Game 4. We did not see the changeup, and that's why they think at some point he's going to be a starter for this ball club.
Ji-Man Choi will get an at-bat here in the 8th inning. Javier, a bit of that wild card for Dusty Baker, can use him whenever. And they have hit on so many young pitchers, guys like Javier and Paredes, and tonight's starter Framber Valdez. Jose Urquidy could be a factor if this goes to a Game 7. That'd be a name to watch.
He'll definitely be a factor.
Lance McCullers Jr. already announced as the Game 7 starter. And that hit him. That was close. Ji-Man Choi, the nimble-footed first baseman, able to get out of the way of that one.
Yeah, G-Man with the big home run off the big righty James last night to tie it up at 3. You see the nifty move by G-Man.
Ever tell you what Ron Darling's bowling name was, Frenchie?
We already said that. Let it go.
Ji-Man Choi.
I have to change it now.
It was a few hours ago. I didn't know if he would remember.
Because you brought it up again, I have to change it now.
That was with a G, though, not a J-I.
One of the great personalities in baseball.
No question. John Curtis with the bullpen. G-Man, he didn't go the conventional route. He was an extremely valued player as an amateur in Korea growing up, and just assumed he would be going into the KBO as he takes a called strike 3. He didn't. He wanted to play in the States and came over as a 19-year-old, and he's been bouncing around with a number of teams since. He's found a home with the Rays.
Got a call there.
Plate's opening up a little here later in the game. Nice, loose, limber arm from Javier. Some guys, when they throw, it looks like it hurts to throw. Not this young man. Nice and easy.
Oily.
Oily, I like it.
He spins one in on Lau. I think the cause for concern with Brandon Lau is legitimate at this point. Not only struggling at the plate, they moved him into left field tonight. Had a miscue throwing the ball to the wrong base in the middle of that 4-run inning. It just feels like a player that is wrapped up in the axle right now in this postseason.
It's tough, but he's got to find a way to grind through it. And if there's a Game 7, he'll be back in there tomorrow night.
Lau hit a home run yesterday, and you're thinking, well, here he comes. This guy, Hank Aaron Award finalist. He's one of the great hitters in the game. He was an all-star as a rookie last year. And you can tell it's eating him up. No Kevin Kiermaier the last 3 games. Kiermaier has been available to pinch run or play defense, and we did see him yesterday. But he has not been able to start. He got hit on the hand in game 3. Took a shot to the wrist on a fastball from Paredes.
Sorry, Brian. Hard to believe he won't be in there tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
Got to have him, right?
And that's what happens when you're not going good.
Yeah.
3-1. You're looking middle in fastball, something to drive. What does he do? Paints one on the outside corner. And you get the call.
Three-two. There's a walk. Lau is aboard. Lots of Ks, lots of walks. 2020 baseball unfolding here on the way to the finish line in game number 6.
9 walks by Tampa.
Here's Margot, who popped a home run his last time up.
6 by Houston.
No, I think, yeah, that was the 15, 16 walks combined. I mean,
the 3 true outcomes. There's the third and the true outcome as Margot is going to have a multi-home run game in the ALCS. That's a 2-run shot. It comes with 2 outs. 7-4 Houston as Margot in back-to-back at-bats sends one out of here. He's doubled his home run production from the regular season just tonight. He's hit his 5th home run of this postseason after 1 in the regular year.
almost the same exact place that Scrub threw it to him, and the same result. And look, the Rays are back in this thing 7-4. It's a 3-run game. Astros last inning with the bases loaded, no outs, no runs. Got to be kicking themselves right now.
Step by step, if you're Tampa Bay. Margot hasn't had a 2-homer game since he played here for the Padres back in 17. Again, the goal, and we talked about this a couple innings ago, if you're the Rays, you're doing all you can to force Dusty Baker to bring on Ryan Presley. I don't know if he will, but you want to put him in that position to have to do it. Adames, 2-0 the count.
And I like what you said earlier too, Ron. Not just that, but get some confidence. A nice walk, you know, a home run. Get your offense feeling good, because tomorrow, look, if there is a game 7, or if you come back in this, you got to get your offense going.
Yeah.
Adames drove in the first run for the Rays in the 2nd inning. And a ground ball to first base. Gurriel will take it to the bag right off the end of the bat. The inning is over, but Manuel Margot, he's hit 3 home runs in this championship series. He's got 2 tonight. It's 7-4. The Rays are inching their way back as we go to the 9th. The 2020 American League Championship Series on TBS is presented by Geico. Austin Meadows will stay in the game to play right field after a pinch hit appearance. Ji-Man Choi at first base. And the new pitcher, John Curtis, trying to hold the Astros right there at 7. It's a 7-4 Astros lead. Rays have the last at bat here tonight in game 6.
He's got a lot of work in this postseason so far. Opened the game yesterday and now pitching the 9th inning today.
Kyle Tucker on the first pitch. He pops it up. And that one is going to head to the seats. Oh, we saw Ryan Presley up in the Astros bullpen. So the closer is throwing because it is a save situation. 3 days in a row for him, something he hasn't done, but Dusty Baker taking no chances.
You got to get to tomorrow. I mean,
and look, I didn't know if he'd just be tossing, but the way you saw that throw he just made, he's throwing.
you put the you've just ended up putting a lot of pressure on McCullers. You're gonna have to move Urquidy out to that bullpen for tomorrow.
But I guess like anything, when you're down 3-0 in a series, there has to be some sort of, I don't want to say consequence, but something to get you to that point.
That's right. You got to sell out, right?
Yep.
Oh, to the count on Tucker. That Margot home run kind of pushed the Astros into a place they didn't want to go. 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 8th. One day leads to the next in this game, but that will not be the case tomorrow. When you get to the World Series, there will be the traditional days off. Aside from the elation of being in the World Series, I think these managers would welcome a World Series that would have a day off after Game 2 and after Game 5.
And I think that's the right move, to have off days for the World Series at least. I just.
Well, especially this year, because I think every team is going to have to catch their breath once they get there.
Yeah, if you have some of these teams, whether you're playing 6, 7 games, all of a sudden you get 2 days off and you another 7 in a row. I mean, start talking about pitchers' health too.
That's right.
3-2 the count on Tucker. And that one's in there. A called strike 3. Down he goes. Curtis with a strikeout. If you're looking ahead to the Rays' 9th inning, they're at the bottom of their order. You see Curtis pick up the strikeout on the 4-seam fastball. Rays have Joey Wendell, Mike Zunino, and then Mike Brasso scheduled to hit. They probably let it ride just like that. First ball swinging. Gurriel. Adames makes the play. 2 up, 2 down for Curtis. Here's Josh Reddick. This would be the ultimate snatch 'em back win for the Rays. If they can come back in that 9th inning. They're going to be down 3 runs. Curtis holds serve for Tampa Bay. And here we go. Bottom of the 9th. A trip to the World Series on the line with a comeback for Tampa Bay. They are down 3. Bottom of the 9th at Petco. Coming your way. Miles Straw will enter the game in center field as Dusty Baker tightens up his defense. That moves Springer over to right. So it's Tucker, Straw, and Springer in the outfield now. And the new pitcher, the Astros closer in a 7-4 ball game. Game 6, 9th inning. It's going to be Ryan Presley pitching in his 3rd consecutive game for the first time this season.
He's gotten 7 outs in the last 2 days on 30 pitches.
He'll face Joey Wendell to start it. Rays need 2 base runners to bring the tying run to the plate. Zunino, the scheduled hitter next. Looks like Yoshi Tsutsugo has moved on deck. But it all starts right here. The Rays do get the Astros closer in the game.
Boy, still has that sharp breaking ball.
Yeah, that's what I was going to be interested to see how that's his best pitch. Wendell 1 for 3 off him. But that was a good one.
No balls, 2 strikes. Wendell hitting in the 8th spot in the Rays order. And down he goes. Presley comes in and wipes him out on 3 pitches. Out number 1 for the Astros here in the 9th inning. Our aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear, celebrating the endless pursuit of forward momentum. Goodyear, more driven. 1 out for Ryan Presley. Presley with an inning in the 3rd. a couple of strikeouts. Tsutsugo hit a line shot off of him. That was caught in right field. And that is through for a base hit. So 2 days later, Tsutsugo finally finds one to get through, and there's one base runner for the Rays.
Remember that tomorrow if Presley ends up pitching 4 days in a row.
No.
It's too good at bats. Just missed a home run the other night, game 4.
First pitch fastball, he was ready for it. Presley had thrown a first pitch fastball to Wendell.
Tsutsugo, base runner with 1 out. Now the tying run on deck. Mike Brasso at the plate. The Rays have their best hitter in this postseason on deck. If Brasso can get a Rosarena to the plate with a chance to tie it with 1 swing of the bat. Activity in the Astros bullpen now. But Presley for sure has the next 2 hitters as Brasso cuts and misses. It's 0-2.
Presley's mad at himself. He hung the slider there, so behind the mound, think about it. Back to business. See him shaking his arm out.
Brasso hanging tough. Astros scored 2 runs in the top of the 7th inning to take a 7-1 lead. Margot homered in the bottom of the 7th. It was 7-2. And then Margot hit a 2-run home run in the 8th to make it 7-4 and force Presley in the game. And now the Rays are a base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate. No balls, 2 strikes on Mike Brasso.
This has been such a just weird flow to this game.
Sloppy,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like Houston has absolutely dominated this game, yet if Brasso can get on base, you bring the hottest hitter in baseball up with a chance to tie the game.
Yeah, you're blooping a blast away.
Well, you guys have been touching on it here in these, through the middle innings when the Astros got the big lead. Now it just becomes, who can you get on the mound? How many pitchers can you roll through? Can you get some confidence at the plate if you're Tampa Bay? And they've done all that. This is not comfortable for the Astros as Brasso on the ground. Got a chance to turn a double play, and Altuve's throw is there. It's a double play to end it. 6-4-3 on the double play ball. They will probably want to take a look at this in review. It looked like Gurriel was able to keep a toe on the bag. And if so, if it goes as called, the game is over and we'll have a game 7.
They'll always look at this play, though. Good toss by Correa, up the line a little bit by Altuve, but his foot gets down on time.
Just got it down in time. And the Astros are going to force a game 7. Gurriel, a superb first baseman. It wasn't a great throw by Altuve, but Gurriel able to maintain contact with the bag.
They'll make this call pretty quickly.
He just saw the replay on the big board. Did Gurriel? He knows it.
And the umpires are telling the guys even because he saw Presley and them pump their fists. They know.
Let us call it first. Yeah, he's on the bag.
We've talked all about the offense today for Houston, but think about this series. Their starting pitching, 32 innings pitched, only 7 earned runs. It's an ERA under 2. They're the reason why they are going to a game 7.
Doesn't it feel appropriate that this game's going to end on a review like this? It's been a strange game. Long, grind out slog of a game. They're taking a long look at this just to see if Gurriel's foot was on the bag. The key thing to note here, the call on the field is out.
Yeah.
So there has to be conclusive evidence to overturn here. And I'm not sure
Unless you have a dead sideways view to see, I mean, to me, it's pretty
up the line.
Yeah, here comes the call. And the crew chief says out, out, and that's a ball game. The Houston Astros have won 3 straight, and they have forced a Game 7 in this American League Championship Series. Presley notches the save. Framber Valdez picks up the win for the Astros. And the Astros are alive and well, and here we go to a Game 7, fellas.
Think about it, Brian. Framber Valdez joins Jose Rio and Joaquin Andujar as Dominican pitchers to win 3 games in a single post.
Tomorrow we're either going to see history for the 2nd time, or we're going to see the best team in the American League come back and get a win. It's going to be exciting.
Well, the 5th inning was the swing inning in this one. It was 1-0 in favor of the Rays. They had scratched one across in the 2nd, but Houston comes up with 4 in the 5th. And they found the holes ultimately. Base hit by Aledmys Diaz, the sacrifice bunt by Martin Maldonado, and then the big hit. Springer just shortens up, punches it to right field through the vacated hole. It plated 2. It gave the Astros the lead. And then Altuve adds on a double down the left field line, scoring Springer as the throw came into second base. And then for good measure, Carlos Correa with an RBI hit as well. Carlos Correa standing by with Lauren Shahadi.
Carlos, you watched that double play on the big board. What'd you see?
I saw it was out. You know, we were waiting for the call, but once we saw the replay, we were pretty convinced that it was an out.
What happened in the 6th with Yandy and Valdez?
I don't know what exactly happened. There were some back and forth talking throughout the at-bat, and then he walked him. He said something. So I went over to Yandy and said, what did he tell you? And then he was super heated. I said, I'll take care of my players. Calm down. I got this. So then I went to Valdez and said to focus. You know, this is not about who's the bigger man or anything. It's about winning ball games. And, you know, I told him, let's go win this ball game. You're our guy. And, you know, he was able to shut that inning down.
You were down 0-3 in this series. How the heck did you even it up?
We're relentless. We keep coming. You know, we said we didn't want to go home, and we meant it, you know. So we forced Game 7. We got to take care of business tomorrow. If not, all this meant nothing.
What inspiration did you draw from the 0-4 Red Sox watching
them? A lot
of
inspiration. You know, Reggie showed me the clip, and we started watching it together. A lot of inspiration. You know, I think we're the second team to force Game 7, so it's going to be pretty special. But like I said, we got to take care of business tomorrow.
Good luck, Carlos.
Thank you so much.
Brian.
Man, what can he do? He's hitting, he's driving in runs, he's hitting walk-offs, and he's delivering the stats.
What an accomplishment to come from behind, being down 3 games, to bring this even, get to a Game 7. It's amazing by the Astros.
And you want to talk about a leader, grab your young guy and say, it's not about who's the bigger man. Get the out and get us to Game 7. It's going to be a good one.
That was a key moment in this one. The Astros have won 3 straight. 2 greatest words in sports. Game 7. And we're going to have it for you right here on TBS. The postseason show coming up next. It's presented by the all-new Hyundai Elantra. For Ron, Jeff, Lauren, and the rest of our crew, Brian Anderson saying so long from San Diego. The ALCS presented by Geico. And the AL pennant will be right here, decided tomorrow for Game 7.